Introduction. The Manuscript of Ash. What you are about to hear violates the laws of official history. According to academic records, this knowledge ceased to exist more than 2,000 years ago. We are told it burned into black smoke during the Great Fire of the Library of Alexandria, along with maps of the Hollow Earth and the formulas of stellar alchemy. We are told that the last masters who guarded this teaching were hunted, silenced, and their names erased from stone. But fire cannot destroy what has no form. In an unauthorized excavation, under the sands of a desert whose name I shall not utter, a lead-sealed urn was found. It contained no gold, no jewels, nor relics of dead kings. It contained scrolls made of a material that does not age, written in a language that predates Babel. This audiobook is the vibratory translation of that find. It is the testament of a spiritual science that modern humanity has conveniently forgotten. For centuries you have been indoctrinated in the religion of light. Since the day you were born, they teach you to seek the sun, to be visible, to shine, to project your voice, to strive, to explode outward. They have told you that God is light and that darkness is the enemy. It is a lie. They have taught you the metaphysics of explosion. And look at me. Look at the world that philosophy has created. A world exhausted. A world of anxiety where everyone screams to be heard and no one has energy. Everyone is a light bulb burning themselves out in a desperate attempt to emit. But this manuscript reveals the counter-argument. It reveals the metaphysics of implosion. It reveals that the true power of the universe does not reside in the light that is seen, but in the fertile darkness that sustains it. Before there was light, there was the void. It was the beginning. Before there were stars, there was an infinite and silent cosmic womb. Creation does not arise from noise, it arises from silence. Life does not begin in the sun. It begins in the damp darkness of the earth or the mother's womb. This book, The Void Protocol, is the operating manual of that primordial force. I will not teach you to attract things by chasing them with positive thoughts. That is for novices. Here you will learn the physics of spiritual gravity. You will learn to stop being a light bulb that pursues and instead become a black hole, an entity with such density of presence and such depth of silence. You will become an entity so dense that reality has no choice but to collapse toward you. You will learn that the void is not nothingness. The void is unmanifested fullness. It is spiritual antimatter, and whoever controls the void controls the very source of creation. It is the ultimate power. I warn you, this path is not for those seeking comfort. Light comforts, darkness transforms. What you are going to hear will challenge your ego, because your ego loves the light and fears disappearing. But if you have the courage to let go of your small identity and enter the abyss, you will find peace. You will discover that you are not falling, you are floating. Forget everything they have told you about asking the universe. The universe does not listen to those who ask. The universe obeys those who are. Break the lead seal. Welcome to the Void Protocol. The journey starts now. Chapter 1. The Tyranny of Light. We live under a dictatorship. It is not a political, military, or economic dictatorship. It is a metaphysical dictatorship, so omnipresent that you don't even realize you are kneeling before it. It is the dictatorship of light. From the moment you opened your eyes to this world, you were programmed with a simple and erroneous equation. Light = good, darkness = bad. They told you to seek enlightenment. They told you to be a person of light. They told you that you should shine. Religions, modern self-help, positive psychology, and social media culture conspire to keep you in a state of constant emission. You have to project your image, you have to express your opinion, you have to show your happiness, you have to radiate. But no one explained to you the basic physics of radiation. In the physical universe, for a star to shine, it must burn its own fuel. The sun is a ball of gas that is slowly committing suicide. Every ray of light it emits is mass that it loses. The sun is consuming itself. It is dying. Its final destiny is to run out and go dark. Light is expense, light is entropy, light is loss. And you, following this solar model, are consuming yourself. You are exhausted. Your soul is fatigued. You feel a background anxiety that never goes away. Why? Because you have spent years, perhaps decades, trying to shine, trying to sustain an image, trying to project energy outward to be seen, validated, and loved. You are in a state of photonic hemorrhage. You are bleeding light. Welcome to the supreme heresy. Welcome to the void protocol. Here in the depth of this forbidden knowledge, I tell you, light is a trap for fools. True power does not radiate. True power absorbs. True power is not in the star that burns. It is in the black hole that swallows the star without burping. This chapter is about how to turn off the switch. It is about how to stop being a disposable light bulb and become an eternal battery. It is about the tyranny of light and how to escape it, to take refuge in the fortress of your own shadow. The fallacy of visibility must be exposed. Look at our society. It is a cult to the solar god Ra, disguised as technology. The currency of our time is attention. To get attention, you must be visible. You must be illuminated. If you are not on Instagram, if you don't post, if you don't share your opinion, the system tells you that you do not exist. What is not seen is not. This is the biggest lie ever told. The seed to germinate needs to be buried in the absolute darkness of the earth. If you take the seed out into the sun prematurely, it dries up and dies. The human embryo forms in the total darkness of the womb. If you expose it to light, you abort life. Darkness is the cradle. The roots of a century-old oak work in deep darkness. The most vital, the most potent, the most creative, and the most magical things in the universe always happen in the invisible. Darkness is the laboratory of life. Light is only the showroom. You spend your life in the showroom trying to sell yourself. But you have abandoned the laboratory. That is why you don't grow. That is why you are stagnant. The Void Protocol demands that you withdraw from visibility. I don't mean that you become a hermit in a cave, though it would help, but that you withdraw your need to be seen. When you need to be seen, you give your power to the observer. You become a slave to someone else's eye. The sorcerer of the void operates in the darkness. His plans are secret. His movements are stealthy. His true self is hidden behind layers of mystery. By becoming invisible, he becomes invulnerable. You cannot attack what you cannot see. It is the ultimate defense. Thermodynamics of the soul, emission versus absorption. Let's talk about pure energy. Your energetic body is a system. If the system is in yang mode, solar active emitter, the flow of energy goes from the center toward the periphery. You are pushing energy outward. This is useful for concrete physical action like running or building, but it is disastrous as a permanent state of being. When you are always outward, worried about the world, the news, what they will say, your center becomes empty. You become hollow, and a hollow being is fragile. It breaks with any blow. Darkness, the yin principle, lunar, passive, receptive, reverses the flow. Energy moves from the periphery toward the center. This is implosion. Instead of exploding outward, you collapse inward. You withdraw your senses. You withdraw your attention. You withdraw your bioplasma. You densify. Imagine a star collapsing on itself. Its gravity becomes so strong that not even light can escape. It becomes a singularity. A black hole does not need to go looking for anything. Its gravity is so immense that planets, gas, and light are inevitably dragged toward it. This is true magnetism. People talk about law of attraction and visualize bright lights. That is a beginner's mistake. To attract, you must become a void. You must generate suction. And you can only generate suction if you stop emitting. If you are full of yourself, full of noise, full of projected light, nothing else fits. The universe cannot give you anything because you are busy emitting. The stress of toxic positivity. The tyranny of light has a psychological armed wing, toxic positivity. You have to be okay. Everything happens for a reason. Smile. Vibrate high. This ideology is spiritual poison. It forces you to deny half of your reality. It forces you to repress pain, anger, fear, and sadness. And what happens when you repress an emotion? Does it disappear? No. It goes to the shadow. It goes to the basement. And down there, in the unconscious darkness, that ignored emotion grows. It becomes monstrous. It turns into neurosis, illness, and self-sabotage. It haunts you from the depths. Maintaining a facade of light and love requires an immense amount of energy. It is like holding a beach ball underwater. You have to apply constant downward force. If you relax for a second, the ball, your shadow, pops up and hits you in the face. Light workers are often the most neurotic and exhausted people. They are exhausted because they are in constant war against their own oscillating nature. The Void Protocol proposes something radical, the integration of darkness. Stop fighting your shadow, eat it. Darkness is not bad. Darkness is simply unmanifested energy, chaotic energy, raw energy. Anger is energy for defense and boundaries. Fear is energy for alertness and prudence. Sadness is energy for processing and depth. If you stop labeling them as bad darkness and accept them in your belly, they become fuel. Coal is black and dirty, but if you throw it in the furnace, it gives heat. If you refuse to touch coal because it stains, you will freeze to death. The tyranny of light wants you to be sterile and clean. The void wants you dirty, fertile, and powerful. The ancestral fear of darkness. Why are we so afraid to turn off the light? Biologically, because predators were in the dark. Psychologically, because in the dark we are alone with ourselves. Light, distractions, screens, noise, work allows us to flee from our inner demons. If you turn off the light, if you stay in absolute silence in a dark room, the ghosts start to come out. You start to hear thoughts you didn't want to hear. You start to feel the existential void. That moment of terror is the threshold. Most people run to turn on the light. They grab the phone, call someone, put on music. As soon as they feel that void, they flee from the treasure. Because just behind that layer of monsters and fears resides absolute peace. If you are able to stay in the darkness and look at the monsters without blinking, you will realize they are not real. They are smoke. And when the smoke clears, you remain floating in the ocean of nothingness. That is the soul's resting place. That is where you recharge. We sleep in the dark for a reason. Melatonin, the regeneration hormone, is only produced in darkness. Constant light ages you. Darkness rejuvenates. Metaphysically, it is the same. Always living in the light of active consciousness ages the spirit. You need to submerge yourself in deep unconsciousness, in mystery, to be reborn. The aesthetics of dark power. Observe how we dress power in our world. Judges wear black, priests wear black, ninjas wear black, high-ranking official cars are black. Formal wear, the tuxedo, is black. Black is the color of power and authority. Why? Because black absorbs the entire light spectrum and gives nothing back. White reflects everything, it rejects. Black accepts everything, it absorbs. Black is gravitas, it is weight. The tyranny of light tries to sell you pastel colors, glitter and neon. It sells you the aesthetics of superficiality. The aesthetics of the void are sober, deep and dense. When someone wears black and remains silent, they project mystery. They project that they know something you don't. They project that they don't need your approval. Light asks, look at me. Darkness commands, I see you. There is an abysmal hierarchical difference. He who looks from the shadow has power over the one in the light. The panopticon works like this. The guardian is in the dark tower. The prisoners are illuminated. If you want to stop being a prisoner of your reality, stop putting yourself under the spotlight. Climb the tower. The cult of the sun versus the cult of the mother. Historically, this is the struggle of principles. Historically, this is the struggle between solar patriarchy and lunar earth matriarchy. The sun is masculine, explicit, logical, linear, hot, dry. The void is feminine, implicit, intuitive, cyclical, cold, damp. We have lived through 2,000 years of solar excess. Reason, progress, war, conquest, exploitation of nature. We have forgotten the mother. We have forgotten the womb. The Void Protocol is the return to the Dark Mother, not as a religious goddess, but as a physical principle. Outer space is 99.9% darkness. Galaxies are small islands of light floating in an infinite ocean of void. The void is the norm. The void is eternal. Stars are born and die. To ally with light is to ally with the temporal. To ally with the void is to ally with the eternal. The camera obscura technique. You cannot understand this only intellectually. You must feel it in your biology. Your body is addicted to light stimulation. You need to do a light detox. The practice is simple but terrifying for modern man. The Dark Room Challenge. Lock yourself in a totally dark room. Cover the cracks in the doors. Turn off the mobile, the router, the TV LEDs. Absolute darkness. Pitch blackness. Stay there. Do nothing. Do not meditate actively by visualizing lights. Do not pray, simply be. At first your eyes will try to find photons. Your brain will create phantom lights, phosphins, to entertain itself. Ignore them. Surrender to the blackness. Feel that darkness is a liquid, heavy and velvety substance that envelops you. Feel it entering through your pores. Feel it dissolving the boundaries of your skin. You no longer know where you end and the room begins. You are expanding. In that darkness, you lose your name. You lose your face. You lose your biography. You become pure consciousness without form. There in that state of no-thing is where you recover vril. 30 minutes of conscious darkness recharges more than 8 hours of normal sleep. Because in normal sleep you continue to dream, mental activity. In the conscious void, you turn off the engine. The economy of energy, radical saving. Light is expensive. Every time you speak, you spend. Every time you post, you spend. Every time you try to convince someone, you spend. Every time you worry, you spend. The tyranny of light wants you in energetic bankruptcy so that you are easy to control. An exhausted human being does not rebel. The Void Protocol is a strategy of radical saving. Close your mouth, turn off the screen, withdraw your opinion, do not react. Guard your energy like a dragon guards its gold. Accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. A point will come, after weeks of practicing containment, where you will feel a pressure. You will feel a pressure in your solar plexus. You will feel that you vibrate. Your eyes will shine with a cold fire. You will have so much accumulated energy that, when you decide to use it for something, a project, a desire, a command, it will be a laser beam of devastating power. He who talks all day fires blanks. He who remains silent for a month fires a nuclear missile. Light disperses. The void concentrates. The secret of the dark Wu Wei. Taoists speak of Wu Wei, non-action, but it is often interpreted as relaxed flow. There is a deeper version, action through inaction. A black hole does not do anything. It is just there still, but its mass is such that it curves space-time around it. The black hole forces reality to deviate toward it. You can achieve this if you increase your spiritual mass through silence, sexual energy retention, shadow integration and stillness. You become heavy in reality. Opportunities start to fall into your orbit. People revolve around you. Money, which is energy, flows toward where there is greater gravitational density. You stop chasing butterflies. You become the garden, or rather, the gravity that attracts the butterfly. It is the end of effort. It is the beginning of attraction. Breaking the mirror. The tyranny of light is ultimately a hall of mirrors. It is Narcissus in love with his reflection. It is society in love with its own image. The void breaks the mirror. Behind the mirror, there is nothing. And that nothingness is God. Christian mystics called it the cloud of unknowing. Buddhists call it sunyata. Kabbalists call it Ein Sof, the limitless nothingness before creation. All deep paths lead to darkness. Only superficial paths stay in the light. Stop looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. You are the tunnel. And in the darkness of the tunnel is where magic mushrooms grow. The tunnel is where diamonds are found and where underground water currents run. You have lived too long on the surface, burned by an inclement sun, dry and exhausted. It is time to go down to the cave. It is time to rest. It is time to stop being visible to start being real. Light is information. Darkness is power. Choose power. The void is calling you. Chapter 2. The 0 point, the fertile nothingness. Imagine a hurricane. On the outside there are winds of 300 kilometers per hour ripping off roofs, lifting cars and destroying cities. It is absolute chaos. It is noise, fury, and violent movement. But if you could travel to the exact center of the hurricane to the eye, you would find something disconcerting. In the geometric center of the storm, There is no wind. The air is still. The sky is blue. There is a deathly silence. The hurricane, with all its destructive violence, revolves around a point that does not move. That point is the 0 point. Without that point of stillness, the storm could not exist. Movement needs a motionless axis to rotate. Your life is the hurricane. Your financial problems, your relationship dramas, your illnesses, your ambitions, your anxiety about the future, all of those are the debris flying at 300 kilometers per hour on the periphery. You live on the periphery. You live reacting to the winds. Branches hit you, you get wet with the rain, you scream to be heard above the thunder. You are exhausted because you try to fight the hurricane while being inside the hurricane. The Void Protocol does not teach you to stop the wind with your hands. That is impossible. The protocol teaches you to walk toward the center. It teaches you to find the exact coordinate within your own consciousness where movement ceases, where time stops, where the you think you are disappears, and the only thing left is pure potentiality. Welcome to the 0 point. Welcome to the fertile nothingness. This is not a physical place. You cannot find it with a scalpel in your brain, nor with a telescope in space. It is a dimensional place. It is a singularity. It is the eye of the needle that sacred texts spoke of. And the promise of this chapter is radical. If you manage to collapse your consciousness into this point, even for a nanosecond, you restart the simulation. The 0 point is the reset button of the universe. To understand the 0 point, we must look at the origin of everything. Cosmology tells us that before the Big Bang, everything was compressed. All the matter, all the energy, all time and all space were compressed into a point of infinite density and 0 volume. A singularity. There was no outside, there was no before, there was only that point. And suddenly, bang! The point expanded and became galaxies, stars, planets, and you. But here is the secret that conventional physics does not dare to touch. The Big Bang did not happen once in the remote past. The Big Bang is happening now. Creation is continuous. That original singularity did not disappear. It is at the center of every atom. It is at the center of every galaxy. And it is at the center of your consciousness. You are a fractal of the universe. Therefore, you have direct access to that pre-cosmic singularity. You have access to the place before your problems arose. You have access to the place before your illness arose. You have access to the place before you made those mistakes. In the 0 point, there is no karma. There is no cause and effect. There is no memory, there is only possibility. It is the white cinema screen before the movie starts. Most people are obsessed with the movie, their life. They cry with the drama. They get scared with the horror. They try to clean the blood off the screen with a rag, without realizing that the blood is just projected light. The sorcerer of the void stops looking at the movie and looks at the screen. If you access the screen, 0 point, you can change the film roll. You can project a different story. But to see the white screen, first you have to turn off the current projection. You have to turn off your life for a moment. Why is it so hard to find this point? Why, if it is the source of all power, do we flee from it? Because for the ego, the 0 point feels like death. The ego is a structure made of time and memory. I am Juan, I am a lawyer. I got divorced 3 years ago, I like football. That is the ego, a collection of data from the past. In the 0 point, there is no time, therefore there is no past. If you enter the 0 point, Juan the lawyer ceases to exist. Only naked consciousness remains. I am, without surnames. The ego is terrified of this. It calls it the abyss. It calls it madness. It will fill your head with noise, with catchy songs, with urgent worries, all to prevent you from staying in absolute silence and sliding toward the center. The ego prefers to suffer than to cease to exist. It prefers to have a painful problem than to have no identity. I suffer, therefore I am. The initiate must have the courage of a controlled suicide. He must be willing to die metaphorically. He must say, I don't care who I am, I don't care about my story. I let it all go to enter the king's chamber. Jesus said, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. For centuries, the church interpreted this morally. Rich people are bad. Donate your money. That is a childish interpretation. Metaphysically, the rich man is he who is loaded with luggage, mental, emotional, identity luggage. He who is full of things. The kingdom of heaven is not a place with clouds and harps. It is the 0 point, the domain of sovereign causation. The eye of the needle is the narrow gate. To pass through the eye of the needle, you have to take the suitcases off the camel. You cannot enter there dragging your resentment toward your father. It doesn't fit. You cannot enter there dragging your professional pride. It doesn't fit. You cannot enter there dragging your fear of poverty. To pass to the other side, to the side where miracles are created, you have to strip naked. You have to become no one. You have to become nothing. Only nothing fits in the 0 point. Where is the door? It is in the intervals. Reality is not continuous. It is stroboscopic. It appears and disappears millions of times per second, like the frames of a movie, but your brain is slow and creates an illusion of continuity. Between one thought and the next, there is a microsecond of total silence. Between an inhalation and an exhalation, there is a pause where no air enters or leaves. Between one heartbeat and the next, there is a point of total stop. That interval is the crack in the matrix. That is the 0 point peeking through. The training of the sorcerer consists of hunting those intervals and widening them. When you meditate and manage to stop the internal dialogue for 3 seconds, those 3 seconds are not lost time. They are time outside of time. In those 3 seconds, you have stepped out of the linear prison. You have touched eternity. The more time you manage to inhabit that interval, the more void energy you accumulate. And when you return to linear reality, you bring a scent. You bring a scent of that other world. You bring order. You bring synchronicity. Why do we call this the fertile nothingness? Because the void is not sterile. The void is a matrix, matrix mater, mother. It is the quantum culture broth. All subatomic particles emerge and disappear in the void constantly. It is a boiling ocean of infinite potential energy. When you enter the 0 point with an intention, that intention acts as a seed. You plant it in nothingness. And since in nothingness there is no resistance, no doubts, no time, no matter to get in the way, the seed germinates instantly. In the physical world, 3D, planting an idea is difficult because there is friction. I want to be rich, you say, but reality answers you. You have no studies, the economy is bad, it's difficult. There is resistance. In the 0 point, you say, or vibrate, wealth, and the void responds, yes. And it begins to organize the atoms so that it happens. Without friction. Creation from the 0 point is what the ancients called magic. It is not moving things with effort. It is informing the source of what you want and letting the source move the things. You become the commander of the void. Protocol 2. The geometric collapse, the technique. It is not enough to understand it, you have to go there. This is an active meditation technique to induce the 0 point state. Use it when you feel overwhelmed, when you need an answer, or when you want to sow a new reality. Phase 1. Spatial awareness. Sit in a dark and silent room. Close your eyes. Feel your body. Feel the room around you. Feel the house. Feel the city. Expand your mind until you feel the immensity of space. Phase 2. The withdrawal, implosion. Now, begin to gather your attention. Withdraw your energy from the city. Withdraw your energy from the room. Withdraw your energy from your skin. Concentrate on the center of your head, pineal gland, or in the center of your chest. Choose one point. Visualize that everything you are is compressing into that point. Your memories, your name, your body, everything shrinks and enters that tiny sphere. You are getting smaller, the size of a walnut, the size of a grain of rice, the size of an atom. Phase 3. Crossing the threshold. Keep collapsing. Now you are a microscopic point of light in the middle of infinite darkness. Try to make yourself even smaller. Seek the center of the center of the center. A moment comes when the mind says, I can't take it anymore. In that moment, let go. Stop applying force. Let yourself fall inward. Imagine that microscopic point is a black hole, and you fall through it. You pass to the other side. Phase 4. the floating, the zero state. If you do it well, you will feel a sudden expansion. You are no longer small, now you are infinite, but you have no body. You are the black space. There is no up or down. There is no yesterday or tomorrow. It is a sensation of cold, vast, and silent peace. You are in the womb. Stay there. Enjoy the absence of you. Feel the relief of not having to be anyone. Feel how your nervous system repairs itself. Here there is no stress. Phase 5. The sowing, optional. If you have a desire or a purpose, release it now in this darkness. Do not ask for it with words. Release the image or the frequency of what you want, like someone dropping a stone into a bottomless pit. Watch it sink into the darkness. That's it. The mother has received it. Now, slowly return to your body. Every time you visit the 0 point, you break the chain of karma. Karma is inertia. If a billiard ball rolls, it will keep rolling until something stops it. Your life is that ball. Your childhood traumas pushed you, and you keep rolling by inertia toward the same predictable destiny. The 0 point stops the ball. It takes the ball off the billiard table. When you return from the 0 point, the ball is still. You can choose a new direction. You don't have to keep reacting as you did yesterday. You have cleared the browser cache. People who practice this daily begin to change drastically. They stop having the same fights. They stop feeling the same pains. They become unpredictable. Karma cannot catch someone who disappears into nothingness every day. Living near the 0 point gives you a social superpower. Indifference. Not the indifference of, I don't care about anything, apathy, but the indifference of, I don't need anything because I am everything. Sovereignty. When you know you have access to the infinite source within you, you stop begging outside. You stop begging for love. You stop begging for approval. You stop begging for security. You look at the world with the eyes of a God who is playing. If the world gives you something, good. If it takes it away, good. You have the 0 point. You have the reality factory. This attitude makes you incredibly magnetic. People, opportunities, and money chase those who do not need them. Need repels. Fullness attracts. And fullness is only found in nothingness. A warning. When you leave the 0 point, be careful. The ego will try to re-establish the old program immediately. Doubts will assault you. Did it work? Is it me again? Look, the problem is still there. It is Lot's wife looking back and turning into a pillar of salt. If you look back, you solidify the past. Do not look back. When you leave the 0 point, assume you are a new person in a new timeline. If you see the old problem, ignore it. Say, that is an echo of the past. It no longer has a power source. It will fade. Keep faith in the void. What you have sown in the darkness is growing. Do not dig it up to see if it has roots. You will kill it. Trust the gestation. Stop demonizing your moments of lows, of void, of loneliness. Sometimes life forces you into the 0 point. You get fired, you get divorced, you get sick. You stay in bed looking at the ceiling, feeling that your life has stopped. Society tells you, get up, do something. The protocol tells you, sink. Take advantage of that forced stop. Life has slowed you down so you can find the center. Do not fight to return to the periphery of the hurricane. Let the current take you to the eye. Surrender to the void. There you will find strength. There you will find the strength to be reborn, not as you were before, but as something much vaster. Chapter 3. The Art of Implosion, Reverse Magnetism. Observe the novice hunter. He runs through the forest making noise, breaking branches, sweating, with anxiety painted on his face. He shoots at everything that moves. He pursues the prey. And what does the prey do? It flees. The prey feels the vibration of the hunt. It feels the desperation. It feels the predatory intention of the hunter. And by survival instinct, it moves away. The faster the hunter runs, the faster the prey runs. It is a race that the hunter almost always loses due to exhaustion. Now observe the spider. The spider does not pursue anyone. It does not sweat. The spider does not run. It does not scream. The spider weaves a perfect geometric structure, its web, and sits in the center. It waits. It trusts its design, and inevitably the fly arrives. The fly surrenders to it. The spider does not go toward the food comes to the spider. Most human beings live like the novice hunter. They pursue money, they pursue love, they pursue success. They live in the paradigm of expansive effort. They believe that to get something, they have to go look for it. They have to push reality, they have to fight. It is a mistake. The Void Protocol teaches you the way of the spider, or better yet, the way of the black hole. It teaches you to stop pursuing so that things pursue you. It teaches you to invert the polarity of your spiritual motor, to stop functioning by explosion and start functioning by implosion. Welcome to the art of reverse magnetism. If you understand this chapter, you will never have to search for anything in your life again. You will simply have to create the space for it to happen and sit back to watch how the universe breaks its back to deliver it to you. The physics of horror vacui. To master this technique, you must understand a fundamental law of physics and nature. The universe abhors a vacuum, horror vacui. If you have an empty plastic bottle and you extract all the air with a vacuum pump, what happens? The walls collapse inward. The walls of the bottle collapse inward. They are crushed. Why? Because the outside atmospheric pressure is immense. The air from outside wants to enter violently to fill that void. If the bottle were made of rigid glass and did not break, upon opening the cap, the air would enter with an explosive hiss. The vacuum generates suction. The vacuum is a demand that nature is forced to satisfy. It is not an option. It is a thermodynamic law. Wherever there is a low-pressure gap, the high pressure rushes to fill it and balance it. Metaphysically, this works exactly the same way. It is constant. You are immersed in an ocean of abundance, energy, money, love, opportunities. The only reason that abundance does not enter your life is because you are full. You are full of anxiety. You are full of limiting beliefs. You are full of effort. You are full of mental noise and importance. Your bottle is full of stale air. Nothing new fits. And worse still, you are blowing outward. When you desire something with desperation, I need money, you are emitting a pushing frequency. Need is a wind that blows from you toward the object. If you blow against money, it moves away. If you blow against the person you like, with your anxiety and your constant messages, the person moves away. To attract, you have to stop blowing and start suctioning. You have to create an internal vacuum so deep and silent that the outside reality is forced to collapse toward you, to fill you. The paradox of need. Here resides the great spiritual trap. You can only have what you do not need. If you need it, you vibrate in scarcity. Scarcity is a wall. If you do not need it, you vibrate in fullness. Fullness is a magnet. It is the banker's paradox. Trust the law. The bank only lends money to someone who can prove they do not need it. The universe is the ultimate banker. If you approach the universe shouting, "Please, give me, I'll die without this," the universe closes the window. Your desperation indicates that you are not a fit vessel. If you approach the universe with the calm of one who is already complete, the universe says, "Here you have more." The art of implosion requires that you murder your need, not your desire. You can prefer to have something, but your need, the idea that you cannot live without it. You have to reach a point of emotional autarky. I would like to have that partner, but if they aren't there, I am perfectly fine. I would like to have that million, but if it isn't there, I am still the king. That indifference creates a pressure vacuum. You withdraw your energy. You withdraw your energy from the object. You stop grabbing it mentally. And in that moment, the object feels the freedom and the gravitational suction of your vacuum and begins to move toward you. The mechanism of energetic withdrawal. How is implosion practiced? Most people practice projections. They get up in the morning and project their energy toward their problems, toward their desires, toward other people. They throw hooks. I have to call this person. I have to get that. They are octopuses throwing tentacles. Implosion is the opposite movement. The withdrawal, it is the retraction. It is the, imagine that you are that octopus and you decide to gather all your tentacles. You bring them back to your center. You withdraw your attention from the person you like. You withdraw your obsessive attention from the debt. You withdraw your attention from the final result. You concentrate on yourself. You fill yourself with yourself. You become dense. By withdrawing the tentacles, you create an energetic gap on the other side. The person you like suddenly stops feeling your pressure. They feel a vacuum. Hey, where are they? They aren't chasing me anymore. And that vacuum generates curiosity and attraction. Now it is they who throw a tentacle toward you to see what happens. You have inverted the dynamic, from pursuer to pursued. This applies to money too. Money is a current. If you pursue it with anxiety, you run after the current. If you stand still, money hits you. If you stand in the middle of the river, still and solid as a rock without anxiety, the money hits you and accumulates in your pockets. The key is containment. Containing your desire to act. Containing your desire to speak. Containing your desire to control. That containment generates a negative pressure. It generates magnetism. The black hole technique. Let's visualize this. Conventional law of attraction tells you to visualize that you are an antenna emitting a signal. The void protocol tells you to visualize that you are a vortex. Imagine that in the center of your chest there is a small black hole, a point of infinite gravity. Everything that enters your visual field, everything that you think is gently attracted toward that center. When you walk down the street, you do not go toward the world. Visualize that the world comes toward you. The ground moves under your feet like a conveyor belt. The buildings approach you. People enter your reality. You are the motionless center. The universe organizes itself around you. This simple perceptual inversion, feeling that the world comes, not that you go, changes your posture, your breath, and your aura. It grants you gravity. People will notice that you have weight. They will want to orbit around you. The silence as a vacuum cleaner. We already talked about silence in the previous chapter, but here we will use it as a suction tool. In a conversation, the one who speaks is giving. The one who listens is receiving. If you want to seduce or dominate, let the other speak. Maintain an active, deep, absorbing silence. Look them in the eyes and absorb their words, absorb their energy. People are desperate to be heard. If you offer them a vacuum of genuine listening, they will fall in love with you. They will empty themselves into you. They will tell you their secrets. They will give you their power. They will become addicted to your presence because you are the only space where they can rest from their own noise. By not talking about yourself, you become a mystery. And mystery is a vacuum that the mind of others tries to fill with fantasies. Let them imagine you. Let them idealize you. Do not break the spell by opening your mouth to say obvious things. The cleansing of space. Preparing the cup. If you want the universe to fill you, first you have to prove that you have space. You cannot serve wine in a cup full of vinegar. The ritual of implosion requires elimination. 1. Physical void. If you want new clothes, throw out the old ones. Leave empty hangers in the closet. If you want money, clean your wallet. Throw away old wrinkled receipts. Leave space for new bills. If you want love, stop sleeping in the center of the bed. Sleep on one side. Leave the physical space for the other person. It seems like superstition, but it is a symbolic language that your subconscious understands. You are ready. 2. Mental void. If you want a new idea or solution, stop thinking obsessively about the problem. The problem occupies space in your mental RAM. Deliberately forget it. Go for a walk. Stare at a blank wall. Create a clearing in the forest. In that mental silence, the solution will fall. 3. People void. If you are surrounded by people who do not contribute to you, you are occupying the chairs of your life. Filler people block the entrance of destiny people. You have to have the courage to be alone, create a social vacuum. That period of solitude is the call signal. Protocol 3. The ritual of the void, practice. This is an advanced technique to precipitate a desire. Use it only when you are willing to let go of the result. Step 1. The definition. Be clear about what you want. For example, $10,000, a partner, a house. Visualize it for a moment. Step 2. The renunciation, the sacrifice of Isaac. This is the critical step. Look your desire in the face and say, I want this, but I do not need it. I renounce the need for this to happen to be happy. If it never happens, I accept myself and I am full. You have to feel it. You have to truly feel it. You have to reach a state of peace with the possibility of not having it. You must kill hope and replace it with acceptance. Feel how the bond of tension that tied you to the desire breaks. Feel how the importance falls. Step 3. The creation of the gap. Now visualize that inside you a concave space opens, an empty cup in your heart or belly. It is a dark, cold, and receptive space. Say to the universe, "Here is the space. I am open. Thy will be done, not mine." And then, forget it. Go do something else. Distract yourself. Do not look back. By doing this, you have created a potential difference. You have eliminated the resistance, need, and you have left the door open, vacuum. The response is usually quick and surprising. The universe rushes to fill the gap you have created with your renunciation. The danger of indiscriminate suction. A vital warning. When you become a black hole, you attract everything. You do not only attract the good, you attract whatever floats nearby. You attract broken people looking to be saved. You attract chaotic situations looking for order. You attract the shadow of others. If you do not have filters, you will become a psychic dumpster. The black hole swallows light, but it also swallows space junk. Therefore, the void protocol demands discernment. You must have a protection mesh at the entrance of your vacuum. You must know how to say no. Your magnetism will bring many people to your door. Your job is to select who enters. If you let anyone in because you feel flattered by the attention, you will lose your power. Your vacuum will fill with noise, and you will stop being magnetic. Keep your vacuum sacred. Only the best is allowed. Vampirism versus implosion. Do not confuse the implosor with the energy vampire. The vampire suctions because they are desperate. They suction actively, with anxiety, stealing energy from others to survive. It is a parasite. The implosor, the magician of the void, suctions by natural gravity they receive. They do not steal, they receive. The difference is the internal state. The vampire feels empty and dies. The magician feels empty and is at peace, knowing that they are the source of everything. The sun gives light. The black hole orders galaxies. Both are necessary. You are learning the latter. Money attraction, the reverse flow. Money hates needy people. Have you ever noticed that when you are broke, no one hires you, and when you have a job, offers rain down on you? It is the law of the void in action. When you have a job, you do not emit the scent of desperation, you emit security. To attract money when you don't have it, you must pretend vibrationally that it is not urgent. You must spend with prudence as if you had more, not from irresponsibility, but from trust. If you cling to the last bill with fear, you are constipating the flow. You are saying, "This is the last." If you release the money with gratitude and detachment, you create a micro-vacuum in your pocket, and the universe says, "There is a gap, it must be filled." Invite someone to dinner even if you have little. Make a donation, move the energy, prove that you are not afraid of the vacuum. Money is water, it has to flow. If you close your fist, it escapes or rots. If you open your hand, vacuum, you can receive more. Empty your hands so the universe can fill them. The protocol is active. Now be the vacuum. Chapter 4. Chaos as Raw Material. Look around you. Look at human civilization. What do you see? You see a desperate, obsessive, and pathetic struggle to impose order. We build square houses to protect ourselves from the elements. We create laws to protect ourselves from the unpredictable behavior of the neighbor. We invent life insurance to protect ourselves from death. We design millimetric routines to protect ourselves from the uncertainty of time. The modern human being is an animal terrified by chaos. He calls chaos evil. He calls chaos disaster. He spends his life trying to freeze reality. He spends his life trying to ensure that nothing changes, trying to keep everything under control. And yet, look at nature. Look at a jungle. Are there straight lines? No. Are there schedules? No. Is there social security? No. There is a perpetual cycle of death and birth, predation, and sex. There is rot and growth. It is absolute chaos. And yet the jungle is alive, vibrant, and it is eternal. Now look at a sterile operating room or a museum. Everything is ordered. Everything is clean. Everything is catalogued. There are no bacteria. There is no dust. And everything is dead. Welcome to the fourth lesson of the Void Protocol. Order is sterile. Chaos is fertile. They have taught you to flee from problems. They have taught you to pray for a quiet life. That is praying for death. The only absolute peace is in the cemetery. Life is friction. Life is collision. Life is chaos. The sorcerer of the void does not seek to order his life. He does not seek to have everything resolved. The sorcerer seeks chaos deliberately because he understands a secret of spiritual thermodynamics. Chaos is not disorder. It is high concentration, free energy. It is power. Their chaotic situation, a firing, a divorce, an economic crisis, a pandemic, is a rupture of the rigid structure of reality. And when a structure breaks, it releases the energy that was holding it together. That energy is your booty. It is your prize. If you know how to collect it, a crisis can propel you. If you know how to collect it, a crisis can propel you further in a month than peace would propel you in 10 years. The fallacy of stability must be destroyed. Let's start by destroying your idol. Stability. You look for a stable job, a stable partner, a stable economy. You believe stability is safety. Error. Stability is fragility. Imagine a rigid tree, dry and hard. It seems strong, it seems stable. But when the hurricane arrives, the tree does not bend. It breaks. Imagine a bamboo or a blade of grass. It is chaotic, it moves with the wind, it seems weak, but it survives. When the hurricane arrives, the blade of grass bends to the ground and survives. The system that tries to be rigid and ordered accumulates hidden tension until it collapses catastrophically. Think of the global economy or a person who represses their emotions to look normal. The universe is entropic. The universe tends toward disorder. If you fight to maintain order, you are fighting against the gravity of the universe. You are spending all your vital energy holding up a dam that is going to break anyway. Stop trying to stabilize your life. Stop trying to fix everything. Stop trying to fix everything so that it stays still. What is still rots. Stagnant water generates poison. Turbulent water, chaos, oxygenates itself and generates life. Your obsession with control is the cause of your exhaustion. Control is the drug of the fearful. The Void Protocol invites you to let go. Let go of the steering wheel. Let the car skid. It is in the skid where you learn to truly drive. The alchemy of disaster. What is a problem? Conventional definition. Something bad that should not be happening and that I must eliminate to return to normalcy. Protocol definition. Protocol definition. A packet of kinetic energy that has entered my field to be transmuted into power. Think about it. When everything goes well, you are on autopilot. You are asleep. Your energy level is low, stable, and boring. Suddenly, bam, your partner leaves you, or you are diagnosed, or you lose all your money. What happens to your energy? It skyrockets. You feel a rush of adrenaline, cortisol, fear, anger, desperation. You cannot sleep. Your mind goes 1,000 miles per hour. You feel a fire in your chest. Most people label this as suffering. Most people try to turn it off with pills, alcohol, or distraction. I want to stop feeling this, they say. They are throwing away the fuel. That massive anxiety is pure vril, released by the impact. It is nuclear energy without direction. Suffering does not come from chaos. Suffering comes from your resistance to chaos. You suffer because you have a mental image of how things should be, order, and reality has destroyed it. The discrepancy between your mental map and the real territory is what you call pain. If you burn the map and accept the territory, the pain vanishes. If you accept the territory, however chaotic it may be, the pain disappears and turns into intensity. And intensity is useful. With that amount of energy that a crisis gives you, you can rebuild yourself from scratch. You can change careers. You can change your body. You can write a masterpiece. Never waste a good crisis. It is free gasoline. The archetype of the apocalypse surfer. Imagine a tsunami. For the coastal inhabitant who lives in a fixed house, the tsunami is the end of the world. It is death. For the expert surfer who was waiting for the big wave, it is glory. The tsunami is the opportunity of a lifetime. The water is the same, the energy is the same. The difference is the position and the attitude. The inhabitant is rigid. He has things to lose. The surfer is fluid. He has nothing, only his board. The inhabitant resists. The surfer mounts. The sorcerer of the void adopts the mentality of the apocalypse surfer. He knows that cycles of destruction are inevitable. He knows that Shiva, the destroyer, is as divine as Brahma, the creator. When he sees chaos coming, he does not run to hide. He runs toward the beach. He says, "Here comes a giant wave of change. It is going to destroy my old identity. It is going to destroy my old routines. Good. Let's see where it takes me." He uses the force of the blow to propel himself. This is metaphysical judo. Do not block life's blow. Do not block life's blow. Grab the arm of life and use its own inertia to throw yourself forward. Anti-fragility, benefiting from the blow. Nassim Taleb coined the term anti-fragile. The fragile breaks with the blow, a glass cup. The robust resists the blow and stays the same, a stone. The anti-fragile improves with the blow, the hydra of Lerner. You cut off one head, two come out. Your immune system is anti-fragile. It needs to be attacked by bacteria to strengthen itself. Your muscles are anti-fragile. They need to be torn in the gym to grow. Your spirit must become anti-fragile. You must design your life in such a way that chaos benefits you. How? By detaching yourself from form. If you define yourself as the bank manager and the bank closes, you break, fragile. If you define yourself as a problem solver capable of learning anything, you adapt. If you define yourself this way and the bank closes, you adapt and found a new company. Anti-fragile. Chaos can only damage rigid forms. Chaos cannot damage the void. If you are nothing, as we saw in Chapter 2, chaos passes through you without touching you. If you are nothing, you stay with its energy. Be water, my friend. Water does not break if you hit it with a hammer. Water yields and then envelops the hammer, the mud and the lotus. There is a very dangerous spiritual aesthetic that seeks purity. White temples, white clothes, pure food. That is fine for angels who have no body. But you are a terrestrial animal. On earth, life is not born on clean marble. It is born in the mud. It is born in the humus, rotting earth. The lotus, the most spiritual flower of the East, has its roots sunk in the filthiest swamp mud. It uses that mud to create the white beauty of the flower. Without mud, there is no lotus. Chaos, your sins, your mistakes, your traumas, the dirt of your life, that is your fertilizer. Do not try to clean your past. Use it. Were you an addict? Use that knowledge of hell. Use it to help others or to understand the human psyche. Were you violent? Use that rage to defend the weak or to attack your goals. Were you poor? Use that hunger to conquer the world. The sorcerer rejects nothing. The alchemist does not say, "This lead is too ugly." The alchemist says, "Bring that lead. There is gold hidden inside. Accept your garbage. It is your treasure." Protocol 4. The Transmutation of Panic. What do you do when chaos knocks on your door on a Tuesday morning? You get a firing letter. Your partner confesses an infidelity. The market crashes. Your body enters panic, fight, flight. This is where most fail. They contract, they freeze. You are going to do the opposite. Step 1. Non-contraction. Feel the blow in the stomach. Feel the cold fear. Your instinct is to shrink, to curl into a ball. No. Open your chest. Raise your head. Breathe deeply toward the pain. Say to chaos, "Yes, come in." Do not close the door on it. Let it enter your house. Step 2. Relabeling. Your mind is screaming, danger, disaster, death. Those labels generate the chemistry of paralyzing fear. Change the label immediately. Say out loud, "This is energy, this is fuel, this is an accelerator." Convince your nervous system that what you feel is not fear, it is excitement. Physiologically, fear and excitement are almost identical. The difference is mental interpretation. If you say I am afraid, you paralyze. If you say I am excited by the challenge, you mobilize. Step 3. Kinetic channeling. Now you have a mass of energy in your body. Do not sit and think. Thinking in panic generates catastrophic scenarios. Move. Chaos demands action. Clean your house violently. Go out and run until you vomit. Write your plans furiously. Use that energy to destroy the old. If you have been fired, use that rage to remake your CV or start your business that very night. Do not let the energy stagnate and turn into depression. Turn it into movement. Chaos is wind. If you deploy the sails, you will fly. If you leave them down, the wind will break your mast, the eye of the social storm. What happens when chaos is collective? Pandemics, wars, riots. The mass enters hysteria. The fear egregore feeds. Everyone runs like headless chickens. That is your moment of greatest power. When everyone loses their head, the one who keeps his becomes king. Apply the 0 point. Become cold. While everyone consumes news and rumors, noise, you consume silence. While everyone reacts, you observe. In social chaos, immense opportunities open up. Money changes hands. Power changes hands. Old structures fall. If you are calm and attentive, you will see the gaps that no one else sees because they are too busy being afraid. The sorcerer is a predator of opportunities in disaster. Buy when there is blood in the streets, even if the blood is yours, said Baron Rothschild. That is the attitude. Creative destruction. You have to lose the fear of breaking things. Sometimes to build the skyscraper, you have to demolish the old house, and demolition is noisy and dirty. You are attached to your old house, your old identity, but I'm fond of it. The universe brings the wrecking ball, chaos. Do not stand in front of the ball. Help to demolish. Grab the sledgehammer yourself. If your relationship is dead, end it yourself before it rots. If your job is killing you, kill it yourself before it kills you. Be the proactive agent of chaos. Creative destruction is the principle of evolution. The forest needs the occasional forest fire to burn the dead undergrowth and return nutrients to the soil. Be the fire. Burn what no longer serves. Have no mercy for the obsolete. Navigating uncertainty. The main component of chaos is uncertainty. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. The ego hates this. The ego wants guarantees, but the guarantee is the prison. If you know exactly what is going to happen, tomorrow, it is because you are a prisoner in a routine. You are a robot. Freedom is, by definition, uncertain. The sorcerer learns to love the taste of uncertainty. It is the taste of adventure. It is the taste of the pure potentiality of the void. If it is not defined, it means everything is possible. Learn to float in uncertainty without trying to grab onto a shore. Learn to say, I don't know what's coming, and that excites me. That confidence in your adaptability is the only real security that exists. Do not trust the sea. Do not trust the sea to be calm, it never will be. Trust your ability to swim. Chaos is your dance partner. Take the lead. Chapter 5, The Antimatter of Thought. Go into the self-help section of any bookstore. What do you see? Think positive. The power of affirmations. Repeat that you are rich until you are. Create your reality with your thoughts. Millions of people parrot empty phrases in front of the mirror. I am a millionaire, I am handsome, I am happy. And yet they remain poor, insecure, and depressed. Why? Because verbal thought is the cheapest, most volatile, and weakest form of energy that exists. A thought is like a speck of dust. It flies, it annoys, but it has no weight. It cannot break a window. It has no impact. Superficial law of attraction tells you that your thoughts create your reality. The void protocol corrects you. Your thoughts describe reality. It is your silence that creates it. Welcome to the study of the antimatter of thought. In physics, antimatter is the counterpart of matter. When matter and antimatter collide, they annihilate each other, releasing colossal energy, 100% efficiency, much greater than nuclear fusion. In your mind, thought is matter. It is noise. It is structure. It is limitation. No thought, conscious silence, is antimatter. It is the void that consumes the form. When you learn to generate psychic antimatter, that is, when you learn to hold a pure intention without dirtying it with words, you generate such gravitational density that reality folds. Positive thinking is noise painted pink. No thought is the nuclear weapon of the sorcerer, the parasite of internal dialogue. Your mind is a radio that never turns off. From the moment you wake up until you fall asleep, there is a narrator in your head. It comments on everything. It judges everything. It remembers the past. It fears the future. It sings stupid songs. It rehearses. It rehearses arguments that will never happen. The Toltecs called this voice the parasite. It is not you. It is a foreign programming installed in your operating system. The parasite has one function: to consume your energy. Maintaining that constant internal dialogue requires an immense amount of energy. It drains your glucose and cerebral electricity. That is the energy you lack to materialize your desires. You are spending your fuel on keeping the small self radio turned on. Every time you tell yourself, "I'm going to make it," you are spending energy. Every time you say, "I'm afraid," you spend. Words, even mental ones, are leaks in the pipe. A true mage does not say he is going to do magic. He does not think about how he will do the magic. He simply makes the internal gesture of the will in absolute silence, and the lightning strikes. The result is immediate. The weakness of affirmation. Let's analyze the mechanics of positive affirmation. You feel poor. Your reality vibrates in scarcity. You decide to combat this by saying, "I am rich and abundant." What just happened energetically? You have just created a polarity. You have triggered resistance. By affirming "I am rich," you are implicitly invoking the doubt that you are not. If you were really rich, you wouldn't need to tell yourself. Do you walk down the street saying, "I am a human being, I am a human being"? No, you are, and that's it. Silence confirms identity. Affirmation betrays insecurity. Furthermore, by trying to superimpose a positive thought, "I am rich," over a deep negative belief, "I am poor," you create a conflict, a friction. It is like putting whipped cream on a pile of garbage. It smells strange. The subconscious is not stupid. It rejects the affirmation. It rejects it because it knows it is a lie. And the result is that you feel worse. You feel the cognitive dissonance. You feel like a fraud. The Void Protocol does not use affirmations. It uses silent commands. You do not try to convince yourself. You act from the core. You simply enter the void, eliminate the noise of poverty, and hold the frequency of wealth without words. It is a feeling. It is a visceral certainty. It is like when you go to drink water. You don't tell yourself, "I am going to drink water. I am capable." You simply reach out and drink. That action without dialogue is antimatter. It is pure efficacy. The density of silence. Imagine two people in a room. Person A does not stop talking. They are nervous, explaining their plans, making jokes, justifying their actions. They emit a lot of noise. Matter. They are transparent. Person B is sitting, relaxed, staring fixedly. They say nothing. Their mind is still. They are not judging. They are not preparing a response. They simply are. They emit silence. Antimatter. Who has the power in that room? Person B. They are the center of gravity. Person A feels uncomfortable before B's silence. They start talking more to fill the void. They start revealing secrets. They start seeking B's approval. B's silence is dense. It has gravity. The antimatter of thought is felt physically. It is a heavy, electrical presence. When someone has managed to turn off their internal dialogue, their presence becomes heavy. Animals notice it. Children notice it. It is the state of the predator before the attack. The lion does not roar while stalking. It maintains a deadly silence. If you want to dominate your reality, stop barking at it. You have to stalk it in silence. The quantum physics of the observer. The famous double-slit experiment taught us that the observer collapses the wave function. When you look at the electron decides where to be. But what type of observation is the most effective? A noisy observation, full of judgments and analysis, is a weak observation. The wave collapses chaotically. A silent observation, pure attention without judgment, is a laser observation. When you look at your financial problem without judging it, it's bad, it's unfair, you inject antimatter into it. You look with absolute coldness from the 0 point. You are stopping the inertia of the problem. You are freezing it. And in that silence, you can inject a new order. But the order must not be a phrase, "I want money." The order must be an impulse of will. It is like pressing a button. You don't talk to the button, you press it. How to generate psychic antimatter? Antimatter is created in the intervals. As we saw in Chapter 2, there is a space between thoughts. The practice consists of widening that space until it becomes a force field. Imagine it like this. Your thoughts are clouds passing through the sky. The blue sky behind them is the antimatter, pure consciousness. Most people only look at the clouds. You are going to look at the space between the clouds. Focus on the background, not the form. When you manage to be without a single verbal thought, without a single mental image, only alert and present for 10, 20, or 60 seconds, you are accumulating a massive static charge. You are compressing the spring. That state of blank mind is not stupidity, it is potentiality. It is the drawn bow before releasing the arrow. Great geniuses, Tesla, Einstein, did not discover their theories by thinking logically. They discovered them when they stopped thinking. In the silence, the information from the void entered. They became receivers of the infinite. The sniper versus the machine gunner. The average thinker is a soldier with a machine gun, firing blindly everywhere, thousands of thoughts a day, hoping to hit something. He makes a lot of noise, spends a lot of ammunition, and hits very little. He is inefficient. The sorcerer is a sniper. He spends hours in silence, motionless, invisible, accumulating antimatter, and at the perfect moment, he fires one single thought, "This is mine," or he simply visualizes the final result for 1 second with total intensity. One single shot is enough. Bang! That single thought, charged with tons of previous silence, has the strength to pierce reality and manifest. A thought wrapped in silence is a piercing missile. A thought wrapped in other thoughts is confetti. It has no power to change the world. Telepathy induced by the void. The antimatter of thought is the basis of remote influence. If you want someone to think of you or do something, do not ask them verbally, and do not spend the day thinking about them. That is chasing. Enter the silence. Generate the void. And from that void, launch a thought bubble toward their mind. It is a short, sharp image or sensation. Because it doesn't have the noise of your anxiety attached, the signal arrives clean. The other person suddenly has a thought. I should call so-and-so. They think it's their idea. They do not know it has been implanted. Telepathy does not work between noisy minds. It only works from a silent mind toward a noisy mind. Silence is the carrier of the wave. Protocol 5, the mental guillotine. You need to train your brain to cut the flow of garbage. This technique is brutal and effective. Step 1, surveillance. Sit down. Close your eyes. Become the cat watching the mouse hole. Watch your mental screen. Wait for the next thought. What am I going to have for dinner today? Catch it before it grows. Step 2, the cut, the guillotine. As soon as you detect the thought starting, cut it. Do not finish it. Do not let the sentence reach the end. What am I going to have? Zap. Silence. Visualize a guillotine or a black sword cutting the sentence. Leave the mind in shock. Step 3. Inhabiting the silence. Stay in that post-cut silence. Feel the vibration. It is like the silence after a gong. At first it will last 2 seconds. Then another thought will come. This is Zap. Cut it again. Be relentless. Do not negotiate with the thought. Murder the thought. Step 4. Densification. After a few minutes of killing thoughts halfway, you will notice something strange. The mind gets tired of trying to speak. It surrenders. And a different silence arises. It is not an empty silence. It is a full silence. You feel a pressure in the skull or in the chest. You feel heat. That is the antimatter accumulating, that is the vril. Now you are a charged battery. Do not spend that energy thinking about nonsense. Save it. Or use it to visualize one single thing. The power of the unspoken word. This applies to your social life. Every time you have a brilliant idea and run to tell someone, you dissipate the antimatter. The internal pressure drops. You no longer have that urgency to realize it because your brain feels it has already lived it by telling it. The sorcerer practices the hermetic secret. If you have a project, be quiet. If you have a desire, be quiet. If you have been offended and want to insult, be quiet. That retention of the word generates enormous internal pressure. That pressure is what transmutes reality. Turn your unspoken words into actions. Turn your unspoken insults into personal success to humiliate the enemy with your results, not with your mouth. The most powerful revenge is silent success. Let your achievements speak for you. Deconstructing identity is the next step. The greatest obstacle to antimatter is your own identity, your ego. Your ego is made of thoughts. I am this, I am that. If you stop thinking, the ego feels that it dies. That is why the parasite fights so hard. But if you persist with the mental guillotine, you will experience no self. You will walk down the street and there will be no one inside your head. There will only be perception. You will see trees, but you won't say tree. You will see people, but you won't judge ugly, handsome. You will be a pure video camera. In that state, you are invisible to the matrix. The system cannot track someone who does not emit judgments. You become fluid, you become unpredictable, and most importantly, you become happy. Because suffering is always a thought. Physical pain is real. Suffering is the story you tell yourself about the pain. If you cut the thought, the pure physical sensation remains, but the suffering disappears. Hell is paved with thoughts. Heaven is made of silence. Manifestation by subtraction is the secret. Most people teach manifestation by addition. Add visualizations, add emotions, add vision boards. The Void Protocol teaches manifestation by subtraction. Michelangelo's David was already inside the block of marble. Michelangelo did not add the statue. He removed what was extra. Your perfect life already exists in the marble block of the quantum field. It is there. It is covered by your fears, your doubts, and your mental noise. You do not have to create your wealth. You have to remove the thoughts of poverty that cover it. You do not have to create your health. You have to remove the mental stress that blocks it. If you eliminate the garbage, antimatter annihilating matter, the truth shines by itself. Your job is not to build, it is to clean. Use silence as an acid to dissolve the lie of your limitation. The danger of madness. A warning. Entering the antimatter of thought is playing with the limits. Entering this state is playing with the limits of sanity. Society defines sanity as participating in the collective hallucination and talking about it. If you are too quiet, if you dissolve too much, you may start to feel alienated. No one understands me. The human world seems fake. It is a normal phase. It is called detachment. Do not be afraid. You have not gone mad. You have become sane in an insane asylum. But remember, you have a body and you live in society. Use your personality as a suit. Put it on to interact with humans. Speak their language, play their games. But inside, maintain the silence. Be a spy of the void in the world of form. You are in the world, but you are not of it. You are the silent observer. You are the master of the antimatter. Chapter 6. The Disappearance of the Self, Causal Invisibility. The modern world screams a constant command at you. Define yourself. Create your personal brand. Tell us who you are. Put your pronouns in your bio. Shout your identity. Be proud. The society wants you to be a label. It wants you to be a scannable barcode. Are you left-wing or right-wing? Vegan or carnivore? Spiritual or atheist, from this team or the other? They tell you that this is identity, and that identity is power. They are lying to you. Identity is a cage. And even worse, identity is a tracking beacon. It is a target. In modern warfare, A fighter jet does not turn on its radar unless it is strictly necessary. Why? Because the moment you emit a radar signal to sea, you become visible to all enemy missiles. The missile does not seek the plane, it seeks the signal. It seeks the heat signature. Yourself, your ego, your personal importance is that heat signature. As long as you believe you are somebody, you are a target. The universe, karma, the envy of others, and the control system need a subject to be able to attack. They need a me to hook their baits. If you eliminate the subject, the attack passes through empty space without touching anything. Welcome to causal invisibility. Welcome to the art of becoming nobody. This chapter is the antidote to spiritual narcissism. Here you will learn that supreme freedom is not for everyone to know who you are. It is for nobody to know who you really are, allowing you to be anything the situation requires. The most powerful man in the room is not the one with the crown. It is the one no one notices, the one who observes from the shadow, the one who pulls the strings without anyone knowing his name. The strategy of Ulysses, the power of nobody. Let's recall the Greek myth. Ulysses the cunning is trapped in the cave of the Cyclops Polyphemus. The monster is giant, strong, and devours his men. Ulysses cannot defeat him by force, light, direct action. He has to use the void. When the Cyclops asks for his name, Ulysses does not say, "I am the king of Ithaca, hero of Troy." His ego would want to say that, but his cunning makes him say, "My name is nobody, Autis." When Ulysses blinds the Cyclops and the giant screams for help, the others ask. They ask him, "Who is killing you?" Polyphemus responds, "Nobody is killing me." And the other giants leave, thinking that Polyphemus has gone crazy or that it is a divine punishment. By becoming nobody, Ulysses became immune to collective revenge. He became invisible to social cause and effect. If he had said his name, the other giants would have known whom to look for. They would have had a target. Nobody cannot be searched for. Nobody cannot be sued. Nobody cannot be cancelled. You live trapped in the cave of the Cyclops, the Matrix, and the Matrix asks you. It asks you constantly, "Who are you?" If you respond with your ego, "I am a rebel, I am awakened, I am rich," the Matrix identifies you and crushes you. The sorcerer of the void responds, "I am nobody," and he goes unnoticed, walking between the lines of code, untouchable. The dead weight of personal history. Carlos Castaneda spoke of erasing personal history. What is your personal history? It is the narrative that you tell yourself and others about who you are. I am Juan, I had a difficult childhood, I am shy, I am an accountant, I am allergic to cats. That story is a script, and like any script, it limits what the character can do. If your script says I am shy, you cannot act with audacity. You would feel fake. Your identity forces you to be consistent with your past, and consistency with the past is the death of evolution. If you erase your personal history, if you stop telling people who you are and what you do, you create a fog around you. In that fog, you can reinvent yourself every morning. Today you can be shy. Tomorrow you can be a leader. The day after tomorrow, you can be a seducer. Because no one knows what to expect from you since you have no fixed history, you don't have the pressure to fulfill expectations. You are fluid. You are water. People spend an absurd amount of energy maintaining their character. I have to act like this because that's what my friends expect. What's slavery? The Void Protocol sets you free. Burn the script, be a walking paradox, be unknowable. The observer effect and solidification. Quantum physics tells us that the observer collapses the wave into a particle. Socially, observers, your family, friends, society, collapse your infinite potential. They collapse your potential into a limited particle, your known personality. They look at you and think, "There goes Pedro, the one who is always late." That look, loaded with expectation, energetically pushes you to be late. It solidifies you in that behavior. To change, you have to escape. You have to escape the gaze of those who know you. That is why often, to truly transform, one has to go to a city where no one knows them. There, without the pressure of the gazes that define you, you can be whoever you want. But you don't need to move physically. If you learn to move energetically, it is enough. If you withdraw your attachment to your own image, the gaze of others slips off. They think I'm stupid. Good. Let them think. You know that in your internal void, you are infinite. Do not defend your image. It is a waste. To defend your image is to spend energy painting a statue. Let the statue break. You are the space where the statue was. The Grey Man. Social camouflage. In the world of espionage and survival, there exists the concept of the Grey Man. He is the individual who does not stand out. He is not the most handsome nor the most ugly. He does not wear bright colors nor rags. He does not speak loudly nor whisper. He is average. He is forgettable. If the police interrogate witnesses after an event, no one remembers the Grey Man. I think there was someone else, but I don't remember. That is magical invisibility applied to 3D. The sorcerer does not dress in purple robes and pentagrams hanging from his neck. That is calling the attention of the Cyclops. Look at me, I'm special. That is spiritual ego. The sorcerer dresses like a banker, or like a worker, or like a tourist. He camouflages himself in the environment. He uses normality as a shield. Behind that boring and common facade, he operates with powers that would make those around him tremble, but no one suspects it. And because no one suspects it, no one raises defenses against him. He is free. He can enter any place. He can influence any situation. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak, said Sun Tzu. The ego wants to appear strong and special. The master prefers to appear harmless and common. It is the definitive strategy. The king is hidden. The freedom of anonymity. Why do people want to be famous? Because they believe that fame is love. They believe that being recognized will fill their void. Fame is a curse. Fame is losing the right to the shadow. The famous person is a slave to their public. They cannot make mistakes. They cannot change their mind. They are a prisoner of their own golden image. Anonymity is the supreme luxury. To be rich and anonymous is true success. To be wise and unknown is true mastery. When you don't have to maintain a reputation, you can experiment with life. You can experiment without fear of failure. If you fail, who cares? You are nobody. You get up and try something else. Personal importance is a lead vest of 100 kilos. You get offended if they don't greet you. You get offended if they don't give you a like. You get offended if they don't respect you. How exhausting. If you are nobody, they cannot offend you. One cannot insult empty air. If someone insults you and you have no ego to defend, the insult passes through your transparency and returns to the sender. You become invulnerable. Immunity to the evil eye. Envy is a real energy. It is a psychic dart. When you shine too much, boast about your car, your partner, your success, you attract gazes. Many of those gazes are loaded with lack and resentment. Why him and not me? That energy sticks to your aura. It sticks like tar. It tires you. It blocks your paths. It is the eye of evil. The best protection is not a red amulet. It is invisibility. Do not boast. Do not tell your victories prematurely, nor afterwards if you can avoid it. Practice strategic concealment. Keep your power hidden. Be like the iceberg. Show only 10% of what you have and are. Keep 90% underwater, in the darkness of the void. If people believe you have less than you have, they will not envy you. They will ignore you. And being ignored is a tactical blessing. They leave you to work in peace. While they compete among themselves for crumbs of attention, you build an empire in the shadows. Protocol 6. The Biography Fast Technique. How to dissolve the solid ego by stopping feeding it. The ego feeds on history. The practice. For the next 7 days, you will practice the biography fast. 1. Do not talk about your past. If they don't ask you directly, do not tell anecdotes of when I was in, what happened to me was. Cut the retroactive narrative. 2. Do not talk about your plans. Do not tell what you are going to do. Just do it. 3. Eliminate the I from your sentences. Try to speak without starting every sentence with I think, I believe, and it seems to me. Speak about the facts, not about your relationship with the facts. Instead of I don't like this food, Say, this food is salty. Depersonalize reality. 4. Become a mirror when you are with someone. Do not try to impose your personality. Become empty and reflect the personality of the other. Listen, ask questions about them. You will see something fascinating. People will love you. They will think you are the most interesting person in the world, even though you haven't said anything about yourself. By emptying yourself of yourself, you give them space, and at the same time you become an enigma. At the end of the talk, they will have emptied themselves, given you information, and you will have filled yourself, recollected data, without delivering anything. You have won the energetic exchange. The mystical death, the I already died ritual. There is an extreme technique of the samurai and the monks, living as if you were already dead. If you wake up in the morning and tell yourself, my previous life ended last night. The me that was afraid, that had emotional debts, died. I am a ghost who has returned only to enjoy and fulfill a mission. If you are already dead, you have nothing to lose. Fear comes from having something to lose: life, reputation, money. The dead have no fear. This attitude gives you a suicidal courage that, paradoxically, ensures victory. The one who fights without fear of dying is the most dangerous warrior. The one who negotiates without fear of losing the deal is the strongest negotiator. Total detachment from your own life gives you total control over it. The silence of the name. In ancient magic, knowing the true name gave power. Knowing the name of a demon or spirit gave you power over it. That is why magicians hid their names. Your social name is a control code. When they call you by your name, your childhood programming is activated. Learn to disidentify from your name. It is just a label. When you hear your name, think, that is the label of my avatar, it is not me. Create an internal distance between you, the silent observer, and your character. Treat your character as an employee. Care for it, dress it well, feed it. But do not believe you are it. You are the manager. Gender and form fluidity. Metaphysics. The void has no gender. It is not man or woman. It is the container of both. If you identify rigidly, I am an alpha male, or I am a victim woman, you limit yourself to half of the spectrum. The sorcerer is spiritually androgynous. He can be hard-piercing and logical masculine when the situation requires. He can be soft, receptive, and intuitive, feminine when the situation requires. He has no fixed form. He adopts the necessary form for victory, like water. Formlessness is invincibility. It is total freedom. The power of being underestimated. The ego wants to be admired and feared. The sorcerer prefers to be underestimated. If they underestimate you, they lower their guard. They reveal their weaknesses to you. They don't see you as a threat. They open the back door for you. And when you are inside, it is too late for them. Let them think you are stupid. Let them think you are harmless. Your pride may suffer a bit, but your power will increase exponentially. The viper does not seem dangerous until you step on it. Be the hidden viper, not the elephant in the china shop. Chapter 7, The Belly of the Beast, Dark Transmutation. They have told you to be good. They have told you to be docile, kind, peaceful, and of light. They have told you that anger is a sin, that lust is dirty, that ambition is selfish, that envy is petty, that pride is the fall. Society, religion, and supermarket spirituality have conspired to perform a surgical operation on your soul. They have performed a psychic castration. They want to take away your fangs. They want to take away your claws. They want to turn you into a farm animal, safe, predictable, and easy to milk. And you, wanting to be evolved, have repressed your beast. You have locked your demons in the basement. You have put on a mask of a perpetual smile, but you feel weak. You lack drive, you lack fire in your gut. When you need to defend yourself, your voice trembles. When you need to conquer, you lack hunger. Why? Because you have thrown away the engine and kept only the steering wheel. Light, superior consciousness, is the steering wheel. It directs, sees, and understands. But darkness, primary instincts, is the engine. It pushes, burns, and roars. A steering wheel without an engine does not move. A saint without a shadow is impotent. Welcome to the belly of the beast. Welcome to dark transmutation. In the Void Protocol, we do not seek sterile holiness. We seek totality, and totality includes the monster. The most potent energy in the universe is not in the angelic mind. It is in the blood, in sex, and in adrenaline. It is dirty, nuclear energy. If you learn to refine it, not eliminate it but refine it, you will have access to a supply of unlimited fuel that the beings of light will never know. The lotus is born from the mud. Gold is made from lead. The god rises upon the shoulders of the beast. Thermodynamics of sin. Let's look at the 7 deadly sins under the microscope of physics, not morality. What is anger? It is high-pressure kinetic energy designed to destroy obstacles and protect boundaries. It is the immune system of the soul. What is lust? It is pure vital force, eros, that ensures the survival of the species. It is the energy of creation. What is envy? It is a radar of desire. It points out exactly what you want and believe you do not have. What is pride? It is the energy of self-preservation and the expansion of the self. Morality tells you, this is bad, throw it away. The alchemist of the void says, this is free energy, this is high-octane vril. If I throw it away, I am left without strength. If I use it as it is, it destroys me. I must transmute it. The problem is not the emotion, it is the level of refinement. Crude oil is useless for a Ferrari. It clogs the engine. But if you refine the oil, you get racing gasoline. Your instincts are crude oil. Your job is not to deny the oil, but to build the refinery. You must become the master of your own processing. The art of containment, the pressure cooker. How is a dense emotion transmuted? Most people do one of 2 things. 1. Repression. They swallow their anger. It's okay. I am Zen. Result, the energy rots inside. It turns into cancer, ulcers, depression, or passive aggressivity. It eats you. 2. Expression. They vomit the anger. They scream, hit, insult. Result, the energy is lost, a leak. You break relationships. You are left empty and guilty. The protocol teaches the 3rd way, alchemical containment. Imagine a pressure cooker. You put in the water and the fire. You close the lid hermetically. The steam wants to get out, but you don't let it. The pressure increases. The temperature rises drastically. That extreme pressure changes the molecular structure of what is inside. It cooks the food in minutes. You are the cooker. When you feel the black fury rising up your spine, close the lid. Do not repress it, do not deny it, feel it burn, but do not express it. Do not scream. Keep your mouth closed. Keep your body still. Watch how the internal pressure rises to a red heat. It will burn you. You will want to explode. Hold on. Use that unbearable pressure to redirect the energy upward. Visualize that the fire in your belly rises through the spinal column toward the brain. Suddenly, anger stops being the urge to kill and becomes the urge to do. It becomes a cold and terrifying lucidity. It becomes an inhuman capacity for work. You have converted anger into relentless determination. Anger, the fuel of justice and change. Anger is the natural reaction to helplessness. When you feel you have no control, you get angry. The good people are afraid of their anger. They believe that if they get angry, they are bad people. So they let themselves be trampled. They become doormats. The sorcerer loves his anger. Anger is the fuel for change. No one changes their life because they are content. You change your life because you are fed up. The moment you say enough with a visceral fury is the moment your destiny changes. That enough is a controlled nuclear explosion. Use your anger. Do you hate your poverty? Good. Do not resign yourself. Get angry at it. Use that hatred to work 16 hours a day on your project. Do you hate your weak body? Good. Use that rage to lift weights until the muscles burn. Anger is the starter motor. Joy is for maintenance. Anger is for revolution. Anger is a gift, as Zach de la Rocha said. It is the gift of not accepting the unacceptable. Lust, the secret of creativity, sublimation. Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, devoted an entire chapter to the mystery of sex transmutation. He discovered that almost all men of great success had a highly developed sexual nature. Sexual energy is the most potent energy the human body produces. It is capable of creating biological life. If you are not going to make a baby, what do you do with that excess energy? The average man wastes it. He masturbates compulsively with pornography or pursues meaningless sex to relieve tension. He throws the energy away. He is left docile and empty. The sorcerer practices sublimation. When he feels intense sexual desire, he does not see it as a need to evacuate. He sees it as a battery accumulation. Instead of seeking quick relief, ejaculation or superficial orgasm, he retains that tension. He feels the electricity in the root and sacral chakra, and through breath and intention, he pumps that energy toward the throat communication and the head vision. Sexual lust becomes charismatic magnetism and genius creativity. An artist in heat, energetically, paints with a passion that moves. A speaker charged with sublimated sexual energy hypnotizes the audience. It is the same fire, it has just changed chimneys. If you learn to work with your libido instead of purging it, you will have an inexhaustible source of vitality. Do not castrate your desire, elevate it. Let the force of creation fuel your works. Envy, the treasure map. Envy is perhaps the most taboo emotion. No one admits to being envious, but envy is a brutally honest diagnostic tool. You only envy what you believe you could have, but have not dared to claim. You don't envy the queen. She is too distant. You envy your classmate who started a company and is doing well. Envy is telling you, that is yours, go get it. The problem with toxic envy is that it stays in, I wish he didn't have it. That is a scarcity mentality, destructive. Dark transmutation turns envy into competitive ambition. He has it. That proves it is possible. Thank you for showing me the way. Now I am going to surpass him. Turn the object of your envy into your sacred rival. A sacred rival is someone you use to measure your growth. You observe them. You try to figure out how they did it. You feed off their success to fuel your hunger. You don't want to destroy your rival. You want them to be strong so that they force you to be stronger. Bless your enemies, for they keep you sharp. They are the whetstone of your ambition. Pride, the king's crown. Humility is overrated. Often what we call humility is simply cowardice disguised as virtue. It is fear of shining so as not to offend the mediocre. Pride, in its raw state, is believing oneself better than others without proof. That is arrogance, and it is dangerous. But transmuted pride becomes dignity and excellence. It is the craftsman's pride. I am not going to deliver mediocre work, because I am the one who signs it. I am not going to let them treat me poorly, because I am worth more. This kind of pride is the guardian of your standards. If you eliminate all your pride, you become a slave. You accept any deal. You eat garbage. You need a healthy dose of dark ego to say, I deserve the best, and I am going to take it. The king needs his crown, not to humiliate subjects, but to remember his responsibility to be the highest. Use your pride to not settle for a small life. The internal predator. Inside you there is a wolf. Society tells you to kill the wolf and be a poodle. The poodle is safe, but if a thief enters the house, the poodle hides. The wolf defends the territory. Carl Jung spoke of the integration of the shadow. He said, I would rather be a whole man than a good man. A man who is not capable of being violent is not peaceful. He is harmless. True virtue lies in having the capacity to be a monster and the discipline not to be one. That is power. The sorcerer of the void rescues his predatory instincts. He rescues his capacity to be cold. He rescues his capacity to manipulate. He rescues his capacity to destroy. And he puts all those weapons at the service of a higher purpose, the light. He is the peaceful warrior. He carries the sword but keeps it in the scabbard. But everyone knows the sword is there. And that changes how they treat you. When you integrate your darkness, people respect you instinctively. They feel you have teeth. The kindness of someone with teeth is valuable. Protocol 7. The digestion of demons. This is the central practice for eating shadow and shitting light. Use it when you feel a strong, negative emotion. Step 1. The invocation. Something has enraged you or made you envious. Do not distract yourself. Do not turn on the TV. Sit in your dark room. Invoke the emotion. Say to it, "Come here." Show yourself in all your ugliness. Feel where it is in the body. Is it a fireball in the stomach? Is it a claw in the throat? Amplify it. Make it big. Let the demon take shape. If you want to growl, growl quietly. Squeeze your fists. Step 2. Disconnection from the story. The demon wants to tell you a story. You are angry because Juan insulted you. Forget Juan. Juan is irrelevant. Separate the energy from the cause. Stay only with the pure physical sensation of the energy. Forget the why. Concentrate on the what. It is heat. It is vibration. It is electricity. It is pure power without a moral label. Say, "This is not anger. This is power." Step 3. The ingestion, the furnace. Now, use your implosion technique, Chapter 3. Visualize that your navel is a smelting furnace. Take that ball of red-black energy and mentally swallow it. Bring it to the center of your belly. Compress the energy. Tell it, "You work for me now." Feel how that raw energy burns in the furnace and becomes golden, liquid, dense. Feel it strengthen you. Feel it make you heavier, more dangerous, more real. Step 4. Directed action. Do not stay sitting. You have a full tank of nuclear fuel. Do something difficult. Make that call you feared. Write that chapter. Do that set of exercises. Burn the fuel in creation, not in destruction. You will see that the work comes out with an unstoppable force. You have used the demon to build the cathedral. The danger of possession. There is a risk. If you invoke the beast but do not have the will to control it, the beast possesses you. You must remain the master. You become a person of rage, a sex addict, or a narcissist. The difference between the magician and the madman is the vertical axis. The magician always keeps one foot in the void, 0 point, while playing with the fire. He never forgets that he is the consciousness, not the emotion. If you feel the emotion dragging you and you lose control, abort. Return to the 0 point. Cool the system. Do not play with fire if you do not have a fireproof suit. The fireproof suit is silence and auto-observation, the aesthetics of the dangerous. Dark transmutation changes you physically. It makes you more attractive in a haunting way. You lose the good boy face. Your eyes gain depth. Your voice gains resonance. You become dangerous in the biological sense. Someone capable of surviving, capable of protecting, capable of hunting. That vibration is irresistible. Life is a woman. She wants to be taken by someone with vital force, not asked permission by someone castrated. Reality surrenders to the one who dares to penetrate it with passion. Passion, from the Latin passio, to suffer, feel intensely, is dark. Romantic love is light. Erotic passion is darkness. You need both. But to manifest in the material plane, which is dense, you need dense energy. Angels do not have money, nor sex, nor empires. Integrated humans do. Become whole, reclaim your beast and rule your world. Chapter 8. Chronophagy, Devouring Time. In Greek mythology, Kronos, the god of time, devoured his own children. He was afraid that one of them would grow up and dethrone him, so as soon as they were born, he swallowed them whole. It is a brutal metaphor for your life. Time is eating you. Every second that passes is a bite that Kronos takes out of your existence. You look in the mirror and see the digestion in progress, the wrinkles, the grey hair, the fatigue. You live with the perpetual feeling that you lack time, that it is running out, that you are late. You are food. You are livestock in the slaughterhouse of the calendar. But the void protocol inverts all laws. In this path, you are not the child of Kronos. You are his assassin. Or better yet, you are the chronophage, the time devourer. What if I told you that time is not a universal constant flowing outside of you, but a mental projection coming out of you? What if I told you that the past and the future are not real places, but psychic vampires that drain your vital energy in the present? Most people live diluted. They are spread thinly over an 80-year timeline. A bit of their energy is in 1995, trauma, and another bit is in 2030, anxiety. In the now, barely 5% of them remain. That is why they are weak. That is why they do not manifest. That is why they get sick. There is no one home. This chapter teaches you to pull back the troops. It teaches you to withdraw your energy from the trenches of yesterday and tomorrow and concentrate it all on the impact point of today. When you do this, linear time collapses. You enter the eternal now. And in the eternal now you do not age. In the eternal now you are immortal. The horizontal illusion versus the vertical truth. Imagine a cross. The horizontal beam represents linear time, Chronos. To the left is the past, memory. To the right is the future, imagination. Most of humanity lives crucified on this horizontal line. They run from left to right, fleeing from past pain, seeking future pleasure. It is a rat race because the horizon always recedes. You never reach the future. When you arrive, it becomes the present, and you are already looking at the next future. It is the trap of the carrot and the donkey. The vertical beam represents deep time, kairos. Above is the source, the void. Below is the earth, manifestation. The point where the lines cross is the here and now. The sorcerer of the void lives on the vertical. He does not move forward or backward. He moves inward and upward. Instead of passing time, horizontal, the sorcerer deepens into time, vertical. A minute in the life of a sleeping man is just a minute, 60 seconds of distraction. A minute in the life of a chronophage can contain an eternity. If you are totally present, if you eat the whole minute without leaving crumbs, the density of experience is such that subjective time stops. You have entered the zone. The goal is not to live many years, horizontal duration. The goal is to live much life, vertical intensity. The vampire of the past, necromancy. Let's speak clearly about the past. The past does not exist. It is a trace of smoke. It is a neuronal file in your brain. It is a scar on your tissue, but energetically the past is dead. It has no pulse. Every time you sit to remember the good times with nostalgia, or to ruminate with resentment on what they did to me, you are practicing necromancy. You are digging up corpses to try to have sex with them or to fight with them. It is perverse, and it smells of rot. Maintaining the past alive consumes an absurd amount of energy. You have to feed the ghost of your ex so that it keeps hurting. You have to feed the memory of your failure to keep feeling like a victim. If you stopped feeding it today, tomorrow it would disappear. The past is a vampire that feeds on your present attention. But it's my story, it's who I am. No, it is who you were. If you keep carrying who you were, you have no space for who you are. Chronophagy demands that you eat your past. Digest it. Extract the lesson, the nutrient, and shit out the story, the residue. Cut the cable. Every morning when you wake up, visualize that you burn yesterday. Yesterday does not exist. You are a newborn with the wisdom of an elder, but without their tiredness. Radical innocence is the state of having no history, and only the innocent can enter the kingdom of power, the vampire of the future, the drug of hope. This is going to hurt, because you have been taught that hope is a virtue. It is a lie. In the myth of Pandora, when all the evils of the world were opened, the only thing left in the box was hope. They tell us it is the comfort of humanity. I tell you, hope is the cruelest evil of all. Hope is the denial of present reality. It is a rejection. To hope means I do not have. To hope means I am incomplete now, but tomorrow I will be complete. Hope is a drug that keeps you passive, docile, and suffering, dreaming of a future that never arrives. I hope my situation changes. I hope God helps me. The sorcerer has no hope. The sorcerer has will. He does not hope it rains. He does the rain dance or digs a well. And if he can do nothing, he accepts the present with brutal totality. Hope is the vampire of the future. It sucks the energy of today. It sucks today's energy to project a fantasy into tomorrow. It makes you live in a perpetual waiting room. You spend your life waiting for the weekend, waiting for vacations, waiting for retirement, waiting for death. Get out of the waiting room. Enter the command office. Kill hope. Assume it as a loss. No one is coming to save me. The future promises nothing. When you accept that, you feel a cold terror and then an explosive freedom. If there is no future, I only have now. I have to act now. I have to be happy now. The death of hope is the birth of pure action. Anxiety, suffering twice. The other face of the vampire of the future is anxiety. Anxiety is using your creative imagination to design horror movies about things that haven't happened. You are living the pain before it occurs. If it eventually happens, you will have suffered twice, once in imagination, once in reality. If it doesn't happen, you will have suffered once for nothing. It is stupid. The chronophage refuses to prepay suffering. When the problem arrives, I will face it with all my strength. But I'm not going to spend a single volt of energy anticipating it. I keep my energy at the 0 point. When the mind throws a catastrophic future image at you, apply the mental guillotine. Chapter 5. Cut it. Say, that does not exist. Here and now I am breathing. Here and now I am safe. Bring your consciousness back to the tactile sensation of your hands or your feet. The body always lives in the present. The mind is the one that travels in time. Anchor the mind to the body. It is the only safe harbor. The black hole of the now. How do you eat time? By turning the present moment into a black hole. Normally your attention is a diffuse beam. Chronophagy consists of concentrating all your attention on what you are doing, whatever it is. If you are washing dishes, be the water, be the dish, be the movement. Do not wash dishes thinking about the electricity bill. Wash the dishes as if it were the most important operation in the universe. Sink into the sensation. Forget everything else. When you do this, something strange happens. Time disappears. You enter the state of flow. 3 hours can pass and it feels like 5 minutes, or 5 minutes can pass and it feels like an hour. You have escaped the tyranny of the clock. You are free. In that state of hyperpresence, your efficiency multiplies by 100. You do a week's work in an afternoon. You learn in a day what takes others months, because there is no internal friction. There is no part of you resisting. All your energy is aligned in the laser of the now. Hurry, the vibration of the slave. Observe modern slaves. They are always in a hurry. They run to the subway. They eat fast. They speak fast. I don't have time, they repeat like a mantra of a curse. Hurry is a declaration of poverty. You are saying, the present moment is not enough. I need to get to the next moment to be okay. You reject the now, and because you reject the now rejects you and becomes hostile. You trip, you drop things, you make mistakes, you fail. The king is never in a hurry. Even when there is a crisis, the king moves with deliberation. The chronophage moves slowly inside, even if he moves fast outside. There is an internal speed and an external speed. You can be running a marathon while your mind is still. That is the secret of martial arts. If you have internal hurry, you make fatal mistakes. Adopt sovereign slowness. Do fewer things, but do them with such dense presence that they remain done forever. An act done in a hurry usually has to be repeated. An act done with presence is definitive. The memento mori ritual. To devour time, you need a seasoning, death. The awareness of death is the only thing that gives flavor to life. If you believe you have infinite time, you postpone. You waste. The sorcerer carries death sitting on his left shoulder. At every moment he asks, what if this is the last act of my life? If you knew you were going to die in 10 minutes, would you worry about that stupid argument on Twitter? No, all of that becomes irrelevant. Only the essential remains. You would love with intensity. You would look at the sky with wonder. You would breathe with gratitude. You would live more in 10 minutes than in 10 years of unconscious life. Use death to cut the fat from your life. Death is the great prioritizer. It eliminates the nonsense. It leaves you only with the truth. It is not morbid. It is vital. The denial of death is what makes you live like a zombie. The acceptance of death makes you live like a god. Protocol 8. The Temporal Collapse Technique. This is an active visualization to recover your energy scattered across the timeline. Step 1. Line visualization. Stand up. Close your eyes. Imagine a line of light passing through your body horizontally. To your left, you see your past as a series of frozen screens, extending back to your birth. To your right, You see your future as a series of foggy paths extending to your death. Step 2. Leak diagnosis. Look left. Do you see threads of light connecting to past scenes? Look right. Do you see threads connecting to future fears? Those threads are your lifeblood escaping. Feel how weak you are in the center because of those leaks. Step 3. Suction, the chronophage. Now, become the black hole at your center. Inhale deeply and with violence. Visualize that you vacuum the past toward you. Rip the threads from the memories. Bring that energy back. Visualize the past screens dissolving into dust and entering your skin, becoming pure power. The past disappears. Now inhale again. Vacuum the future. Rip the threads of anxiety and hope. Bring that energy back. Tell the future, you do not exist. I create you here. Bring the fog toward you. Condense it in your solar plexus. Only the void remains. Step 4. Vertical densification. Now that you have collapsed the horizontal line, all that energy is compressed in your vertical axis. Feel the weight. You feel dense. You feel giant. You feel your feet sinking into the ground and your head touching the sky. Only this breath exists. Only this heartbeat exists. You are the totality of your history concentrated in one point. Stay in this sensation of immediate potency. If you have to do something, do it from this state. Your actions will have a brutal impact. Procrastination, fear of the void. Why do we postpone things? It is not because of laziness, it is because of fear. We postpone because the act of doing confronts us with the present moment, and in the present, we find the void. We find ourselves. We find the possibility of failing or succeeding. It is safer to live in the fantasy of tomorrow I will do it, where everything is perfect, than in the reality of I am doing it, where there is difficulty. Procrastination is a defense of the ego. The chronophage kills procrastination with the 3-second rule. When you have the urge to do something, count 1, 2, 3, go. Move before your mind has time to negotiate. The mind is slow, the body is fast. Don't give it a chance to speak. If you give the mind more than 3 seconds, it will convince you not to do it. It will give you logical excuses. Beat it with speed. Act from instinct, not from reflection. Time as a consumable resource. Imagine you were given a briefcase with $1 million at birth. But you don't know how much is in it, and the briefcase has a hole where coins fall every second. Would you stay watching the coins fall, bored, or would you use every coin frantically to buy experiences, love, and creation? Time is the only real currency. Money can be recovered. Time cannot. Every hour you spend killing time with your phone, with gossip, with worries, you are burning bills from your briefcase. It is slow suicide. The sorcerer has a holy greed with his time. He does not give it to just anyone. He says no to everything that is not essential. He protects his hours of solitude and deep work as if they were diamonds, because he knows that with those hours he is building his masterpiece, the only thing that will survive when Cronus comes. Eternity in an hour. William Blake wrote, "To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." This is not poetry. It is the final goal of the protocol. When you clear your perception, reality explodes in richness. A simple cup of tea becomes a mystical sensory experience. A conversation becomes a communion of souls. Boredom disappears forever. You cannot be bored if you are paying total attention. Boredom is just a lack of attention. The chronophage lives in a state of constant wonder, devouring the beauty of the world with a voracious appetite. He does not need to live 100 years. One day of his life is worth 100 years of a sleepwalker. Devouring time is devouring life itself. Chapter 9. The Gravity of Silence. Imagine the ocean. On the surface there is noise. There are waves crashing, foam, wind, seagulls screaming, storms. It is a constant chaos of movement and sound. But descend 100 meters, the noise diminishes. Descend 1,000 meters, the silence begins to press against your eardrums. Descend to the bottom, to the Mariana Trench. Down there the darkness is absolute and the silence is total. But there is something more. The pressure. The pressure is so immense that it would crush a steel submarine as if it were a soda can. That silence is not absence of sound. It is a substance. It is tons of water weighing down on every square centimeter. It is a silence with mass. The human world lives on the surface. People live making foam. They talk for the sake of talking. They fill the air with empty words because they are terrified of silence. They believe silence is nothing. They believe that if they stop making noise, they will disappear. The Void Protocol teaches you to dive to the bottom. It teaches you that silence is the heaviest force in the social universe. When you learn to condense your silence, you generate gravity. And gravity does not argue. Gravity attracts. Planets do not convince moons to orbit around them. Planets simply have so much mass that the moons have no other choice. In this chapter, you will learn to become heavy. You will learn to stop chasing attention with words. You will stop chasing with foam and start forcing reality to orbit around you through the weight of what you keep silent. The inflation of the word is real. We live in an economy of verbal hyperinflation. There are too many words in circulation, so the value of each word has fallen to zero. People say, "I love you, I promise, I'm going to do this," with the same lightness as they order a coffee. No one believes in anyone's word anymore because everyone talks too much and does too little. When you talk a lot, you devalue yourself. You explain your plans, they lose strength. You justify your mistakes. You look guilty. You ask for validation. You look needy. The chatterbox is, by definition, an energetic beggar. He is throwing gold coins, his energy, into the street, hoping someone will pick them up and give him a smile in return. The sorcerer practices verbal deflation. He withdraws his words from the market. He generates scarcity. And in economics, what is scarce is valuable. If someone who talks all day says something, no one listens. If someone who never talks opens their mouth, the entire room freezes to listen. Their word is a diamond because it is rare. To recover your power, you have to turn off the tap. You have to become expensive to listen to. Silence as a weapon of dominance. In any human interaction, business, seduction, conflict, there is a golden rule. He who talks most loses. He who talks is delivering information. He is showing his cards. He is seeking approval. He who listens and remains silent is collecting information. He is hiding his cards. He is judging. Silence is the position of the judge. The word is the position of the accused. The dynamics of the social void are clear. Human beings have a biological anxiety towards silence in a conversation. Silence makes them feel that something is wrong, that the connection is broken. They feel an uncontrollable urge to fill that gap. The sorcerer uses this as a tactical weapon. You throw out a question or simply look at the person. They respond. They finish talking. You do not respond immediately. You maintain the silence. You look them in the eyes, a soft gaze, not aggressive but firm. You count 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. Those 4 seconds are eternal for the other person. Their brain enters panic. Why isn't he talking? Did I say something stupid? Is he judging me? I have to fix it. And then they talk again. And this is the key. The second time they talk, they tell the truth. The first time they gave you the prepared answer, the mask. Faced with your silence, the mask breaks. They begin to justify themselves, to reveal insecurities, to give you data they didn't want to give just to relieve the tension of the silence. You have used the vacuum to suction the truth. You haven't had to interrogate. You only had to remain silent and wait. The hermetic seal, the pressure cooker. In alchemy, there are 4 powers of the magus: to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent. Of the 4, to keep silent is the one that seals the work. Imagine you have a brilliant idea or a deep desire. It is a volatile gas. If you run to tell your friend, your partner, or social media, you open the valve. The gas escapes. You feel momentary relief, dopamine, but the internal pressure disappears. You no longer have the obsessive drive to carry out the work because your brain feels it has already lived it. You have energetically aborted the project. The hermetic seal consists of telling nothing. You have a project, Be silent. You have a new love. Be silent. You have a painful problem. Be silent. Solve it. Don't vent it. By closing the valve, the pressure inside you increases. That unexpressed idea begins to vibrate. It begins to seek an exit. Since you have denied it the easy exit, the mouth, it will seek the difficult exit, action. That pressure will force you to work, to create, to physically manifest the desire. Silence is the oven where reality is cooked. If you open the oven prematurely to show the cake falls. Keep the door closed until the work is finished. Let your results make the noise. Having a secret is the origin of magnetism. What makes someone fascinating? Mystery. And mystery is simply withheld information. If you are an open book, you are boring. You are predictable. There is nothing to discover. The sorcerer deliberately cultivates having secrets. I don't mean dark or criminal secrets, though those also generate energy, but secrets of power. Have a goal that no one knows. Have a skill no one knows you have. Have a place you go and no one knows where it is. Have a source of income no one knows about. The simple fact of knowing something that others ignore changes your vibration. It gives you a Mona Lisa smile. It gives you a subtle internal superiority. People look at you and think, there is something in him, her that I don't understand. There is something deeper. That curiosity is the beginning of attraction. People are drawn to the hidden because they intuit that the treasure is there. If you become totally transparent, you become invisible. If you become opaque, you become a magnet, speaking from the underground. When you break the silence, your voice must come from the right place. Most people speak from the throat or the nose. It is a thin, sharp, nervous voice. It is the voice of the head. The sorcerer speaks from the hara, the belly. It is the voice of the underground. It is not just about the deep tone, but the resonance. Visualize that your words do not come out of your mouth, but rise from your feet, pass through your sex, through your guts, and come out charged with earth and fire. That voice has physical impact. It hits the listener's chest. When you speak from the belly, you speak with biological authority. Do not raise the pitch at the end of sentences, as if it were a question. That is submission. Lower the pitch at the end. Lock the sentence. Say, this is how it is. Period. Do not ask permission to speak. Occupy the acoustic space, the pause, the space of power. Music is not the notes. It is the silence between the notes. Without silence, it would be continuous noise. Power speech is not the words. It is the pauses. Observe great speakers or cinematic predators. They use the pause masterfully. What I am going to tell you about a 2-second pause is going to change your life. That pause creates suspense. It forces the listener to lean forward. It charges the next word with importance. The novice is afraid of the pause. He fills it with, well, those sounds are energy leaks. They are the sound of your brain skidding. Eliminate filler words. If you don't know what to say, be silent. A 5-second silence, which seems reflective, is better than a 1-second which seems stupid. The pause demonstrates that you are not afraid of time. It shows you are comfortable in the void. Use the pause before answering a difficult question. Use the pause before stating the price. Use the pause before saying no. Listening, the intake of energy. Silence is not just strategic, it is nutritious. When you truly listen, not just waiting for your turn to speak, but with voracious listening, you are eating energy. The person talking is throwing their chai at you. They are giving you their ideas, their emotions, their attention. If you are in internal silence, 0 point, you absorb all that. You strengthen yourself with their speech. Furthermore, by listening deeply, you validate the existence of the other. You give them the rarest gift in the world, pure attention. That creates loyalty. People would kill for someone who truly listens to them. Become that giant ear. Be the confessional. People will tell you things they tell no one else. They will give you the keys to their psyche. And once you have the keys, you can open whatever doors you want. The silence of the victim versus the silence of the king. Be careful. not all silences are equal. There is the silence of the victim. It is the silence of the one who is quiet so as not to disturb, who is afraid to give an opinion, who swallows their emotions. That silence is constriction. It is negative implosion. It makes you small. It feels like being muzzled. There is the silence of the king-sorcerer. It is the silence of the one who could destroy with a word, but chooses not to. It is the silence of voluntary containment. It is expansion. It feels like a resting lion. The difference is the intention and body posture. The victim is silent while looking at the ground, shoulders shrugged. The king is silent while looking into the eyes, shoulders relaxed, breathing deeply. Your silence must be comfortable for you and uncomfortable for whoever disrespects you. It must say, I am observing. I am evaluating. Protocol 9. The Vow of Heavy Silence Technique. To recalibrate your relationship with sound, you need a fast. The 24-hour challenge, choose a day. Your goal is to speak the absolute minimum necessary for functional survival. If you live with people, warn them. Warn them. Today I am practicing an introspection technique. I will speak little. Rules. Do not initiate conversations. Only respond. Telegraphic responses. Use yes, no, thank you, maybe. Do not elaborate. Do not justify. Do not fill silences. If there is an awkward moment at dinner, let it be. Eat the discomfort. Look at it. Smile internally. Do not consume words. No podcasts, no radio, no videos of people talking. Only instrumental music or silence. What will happen? The first few hours, you will feel anxiety. The pressure in the throat will be strong. You will want to give an opinion, correct someone, make a joke. Swallow it. Feel how that energy goes to the belly. Towards the evening, you will feel a change. Your mind will become crystalline. Your body will feel heavy and grounded. You will feel a protective barrier around you. And you will notice that others begin to behave differently toward you. They look at you more. They seek you out. They become nervous or more respectful. Your gravity has increased. You have stopped being a satellite and have become a planet. The Hermetic Secret. To know, to will, to dare, to keep silent. Why is to keep silent the last mandate? Because power is dangerous. If you reveal your techniques, like this protocol, to unprepared people, they will mock them or use them poorly. Mockery is an acid that dissolves magic. Protect your practice. Do not go around saying, I am doing the void protocol. Just do it. Let them see the change in your eyes. Let them see the change in your bank account. Let them see the change in your aura. And when they ask you, what have you done? Smile and say, nothing. Maintain the secret. Mystery preserves power. The acoustics of manifestation. The universe is an acoustic space. In the beginning was the word, sound, vibration. But before the word, there was the silence that made it possible. To manifest a new reality, you must first create a silence. Create a silence where that reality can resonate. If your life is full of noise, the signal from the universe does not arrive. You need structural silence. Moments of the day where nothing happens, where there is no input and no output. In that silence is where intuitions and miracles fall. Give the universe a blank page to write on. If you write in all the margins, God has nowhere to sign. Be the silence that hosts the stars. Chapter 10. The Death of the Spectator. Imagine you are in a cinema. The movie is a horror film. The protagonist is being pursued. He is bankrupt, sick, and alone. You, sitting in your seat, are sweating. Your heart is racing at 1,000 miles per hour. You cry. You scream at the screen, watch out, don't go that way. You are totally immersed. You have forgotten that you are in a cinema. You have forgotten that what you see are only photons of light hitting a white cloth. You have forgotten that you paid for the ticket. You believe the movie is real and that you are the victim of the plot. This is your life. The three-dimensional 3D reality you see around you, your bank account, your house, your body, the news, politics, is the movie. It is a holographic projection of your past internal states. But you have made the fatal mistake. You have become the spectator. The spectator is the one who believes that reality is out there, solid, fixed, and separate from him. The spectator is the one who reacts. If the movie is sad, he cries. If the movie is scary, he trembles. The spectator is a slave to the screen. He has no power. As long as you are a spectator, you have no power. You can scream at the screen all you want, but the movie is not going to change because the movie is already printed on the roll. The Void Protocol demands a murder. You have to kill the spectator. You have to wake up. You have to get up from your seat, turn around, walk toward the projection booth, kick the projectionist out, and take command of the machine. In this chapter, you will learn to break the fourth wall. You will learn supreme indifference. The world is a dream. You will learn that physical reality is not something to be fixed, but something to be withdrawn. The world is a dream, and you are about to become lucid. The reaction trap is the mechanism that keeps you trapped in the matrix. It is emotional reaction. Let's analyze it. 1. Projection. Your subconscious mind, based on past beliefs, projects a situation, e.g., a debt. 2. Perception. Your eyes see the debt in physical reality. 3. Reaction. The spectator, you, panics, feels fear, and validates the reality. This is terrible. It's real. 2. Re-impression. That intense emotional reaction, fear, is imprinted back into the subconscious as an order. More of this. 5. Loop. The projector keeps broadcasting the same movie of debt over and over again. It is a closed circuit, a cybernetic loop. Reality makes you feel bad. You feel bad. You create more bad reality. To break the loop, you have to cut the cable at step 3, the reaction. You have to stop reacting to the movie. You have to look at the debt, look at the illness, look at the conflict, and do not blink. Do not feel fear. Do not feel anger. Do not feel pity. Feel the void. See it for what it is. Old data. Echoes of the past. Light on the screen. If you manage to look at your worst nightmare without reacting emotionally, the nightmare runs out of battery. It dies. The matrix feeds on your reaction. If you take away the food, your reactive emotion, the illusion collapses. The delayed mirror is another key. Reality works like a mirror, but with a catch. It has delay. What you see today in your life is the reflection of who you were months ago. Matter is dense and slow. It takes time to reorganize. The spectator's error is that he tries to comb his hair by touching the mirror. You see your reflection is messy. Your life is chaos. You try to fix the reflection by manipulating the mirror, fighting external circumstances. You stain your hands, you get frustrated, you scream. The reflection does not change. To change the reflection, you have to comb your own hair, change your internal state. But here comes the test of faith. You comb your hair, change your vibration to the 0 point. You look in the mirror, and the reflection is still messy. Why? Because of the delay. Physical reality is still showing the inertia of the past. The spectator screams, "It doesn't work. I did the protocol and I'm still poor." And he messes up his hair again. He reacts again. Loop restarted. Failure. The operator of the void knows there is a delay. He combs his hair. He looks in the mirror and sees the old chaos and he says, "This is the past evaporating. My new reality is already on its way. I stand firm." He ignores the mirror and remains faithful to his vision. He persists, and eventually the mirror obeys. Supreme indifference, the power of I don't care. People confuse love with attachment, and they confuse power with intensity. True power is indifference, not the apathetic indifference of depression. I am talking about sovereignty. I mean sovereign indifference. This does not affect me because I am greater than this. It is the attitude of a god at play. When you care too much about something, you generate excess potentials. If you desire money with desperation, the universe balances that tension by pushing it away. If you fear illness with terror, the universe attracts it to balance the fear. To manifest, you have to reduce the importance. You have to look at your desire and say, if it comes, good. If it doesn't come, also good. I am complete. You have to look at your problem and say, so what? The so what technique. You get fired from your job. The spectator panics. The operator says, "So what? That I will run out of money. So what? That I will lose the house. So what? That I will have to live under a bridge. So what? Will I die? Will I die? No. I will still be infinite consciousness experiencing a bridge. So what?" Take the fear to its absurd extreme. When you face the worst-case scenario and accept it with indifference, the fear disappears. You have taken the teeth out of the monster. And paradoxically, when you remove the importance, the solution appears magically. Reality flows toward where there is the least resistance. Importance is resistance. Indifference is fluidity. Breaking the fourth wall, others are actors. Shakespeare said, "All the world's a stage." It was not poetry. It was literal metaphysics. The people in your life are not fixed objective entities. They are actors that you have hired, unconsciously, to play the roles that your internal script demands. If your script says, "I am a victim," you will hire actors who betray you. They are excellent professionals. If you get angry with the actor and fire him, break up with him, but you don't change the script, you will hire another different actor to play exactly the same role. Does it sound familiar? Do you always attract the same type of toxic partner? It is because the script is still active. The death of the spectator implies stop blaming the actors. Your tyrant boss is not the problem. He is an extra hired to show you your lack of internal authority. Your cold partner is a mirror of your own self-abandonment. Stop trying to change the actors. Enter the projection booth, the void, and rewrite the character. If you change your role to "I am respected and loved," the actors have two options. 1. They change their performance to adapt to your new script. 2. They leave the stage. They leave because they no longer fit in the play, and new actors enter who do know how to interpret respect. The reality diet. Stop consuming. You are what you eat, and I am not just talking about food. I am talking about information and perception. If you spend 4 hours a day watching news of wars and crisis, you are eating toxic reality. You are validating the matrix of fear. You are using your precious creative energy to co-create hell on earth. The sorcerer puts himself on a reality diet. He withdraws his attention. He stops watching the news. He stops listening to gossip. He stops reading hate comments. He withdraws his attention from the real world. People will tell you, "You live in a bubble." Respond to them in silence. "My bubble is my temple. I create my own reality." Ignoring negative reality is not ignorance. It is mental hygiene. If you don't look at it, you don't feed it. What is not fed dies of starvation. If millions of people stopped paying attention to media wars, the wars would run out of energy. The egregores would dissolve. Be a conscientious objector of the consensus reality. Do not give it your like or your dislike. Give it your void. Walking through walls. When you stop believing that reality is solid, it becomes flexible. Impossible problems become soluble. Bureaucratic barriers open. Chronic illnesses remit spontaneously. This happens because you have withdrawn solidity from your gaze. Before you looked at the problem and thought, "This is a brick wall," your belief made it hard. Now you look at it and think, "This is a cloud of data. It seems hard, but it is energy. I can blow and move it." This attitude of liquid flexibility allows you to navigate life like a ghost. You pass through obstacles that stop others. The obstacle detects that you don't believe in it, and it moves aside. Faith moves mountains. Faith moves mountains not because faith is strong, but because faith knows the mountain is an illusion. Protocol 10, the screen breaker technique. This is a dissociative visualization for moments of acute crisis. Step 1. The mental cinema. Sit down. Close your eyes. Visualize your current situation projected on a giant cinema screen in front of you. See yourself there, suffering, crying. You are sitting in the dark seat, watching. Eat imaginary popcorn. Say, "What a dramatic movie. The lead actor is suffering so much. What a good performance." Dissociate. You are not the one on the screen. You are the one in the seat. Step 2. The exit. Get up from the seat. Turn your back on the screen. Walk toward the cinema exit. You see a door with bright light that says, "Exit." Push the door. You leave the dark cinema. You enter a white, infinite and luminous space, or black and empty as you prefer. It is the space outside the matrix. Here there is no movie. Here there is only peace. Feel the silence. Here the problem on the screen does not exist. It is nothing. Step 3. The role change. Now, as the owner of the cinema, you decide to change the movie. In this empty space, create a new brief scene. See yourself succeeding, healthy, at peace. Feel it. Enter the projection booth. Remove the old role, burn it. Put in the new role. Step 4. The return. Sit back in the seat. Watch the new movie on the screen. Enjoy it. Open your eyes. Now you are in the physical world, but you know you just changed the role. What you see outside is just the end of the old role, finishing passing. Confidence. Wait with confidence. The not doing of Castaneda. Toltec shamans spoke of doing, constructing everyday reality with our constant perception, and not doing, suspending that construction. The world is the way it is because we have all agreed to sustain it with our attention. The sorcerer practices not doing. You look at a tree and for a second you don't see a tree. You see an explosion of green energy. You look at your enemy and you see a cluster of fears and bones. You dismantle reality with your gaze. You stop doing the solid world. This creates cracks in the wall. And through those cracks, magic enters. The more you practice seeing the world as energy and not as objects, the more malleable it will be for you. Do not be a bricklayer. Be the space between the bricks. The solitude of the awakened. Killing the spectator has a price, solitude. You will stop enjoying trivial conversations. You will see your friends and family suffering for dramas that you know are illusory. You will want to shake them and say, "It's just a movie. Wake up." But they won't listen. They are hypnotized. They love their movie. They love their drama. They will call you cold. They will call you insensitive. How can you be so calm with what is happening? They don't understand that your calmness is the only life raft available. Accept that solitude. It is the solitude of the adult in a nursery. Do not judge the children for playing and crying. Love them, but do not believe their game. The divine game, Lila. In Hinduism, creation is called Lila, divine play. God got bored of being one, so he divided. He divided into many and forgot who he was to play hide-and-seek with himself. You are God playing at being a human with problems. The goal of the game is not to win. The goal of the game is to realize it is a game. The moment you realize it, you laugh. That cosmic laughter is enlightenment. The spectator takes the movie seriously. The operator laughs at the plot. And curiously, when you laugh and have fun, you play better. Life stops being a survival test and becomes a playground. Dare to play. Dare to change the rules. Nothing of this is real. Only you, the eternal consciousness, are real. Everything else is decoration. The projector is in your hands. What will you show next? Chapter 11. The Black Sun, the Inexhaustible Source. You have come far. You have learned to empty yourself, to be silent, to attract and to navigate chaos. But there is a question every engineer must ask. Where does the energy to sustain all this come from? Your biological body is fragile. It runs on glucose and oxygen. It has limited autonomy. If you don't eat, you die. If you don't sleep, you go mad. If you strain too much, you collapse. You are, in engineering terms, a low-performance machine with a small, defective battery. Most spiritual seekers try to optimize the battery. They eat better, do yoga, take supplements, they improve by 10%. But they are still slaves to the recharge. They still have lows. They still age. The Void Protocol does not seek to improve the battery. The protocol seeks to plug you into the grid. There is a source of energy in the universe that is not physical. It is not thermodynamic. It is not spent when used. It is not entropic. It generates no waste. Alchemists called it Sol Niger, the Black Sun. Theoretical physicists call it zero-point energy or vacuum energy. Ancient traditions call it the dark light or the mother's womb. It is the invisible counterpart to our physical sun. Our yellow sun burns matter to give light, death to give life. The black sun absorbs matter to regenerate existence, death to give rebirth. It is the infinite battery of the cosmos, and you have a connection port designed to dock with it. If you manage to connect the cable, the bad days are over. Chronic exhaustion is over. The need to vampire energy from others is over. You become an autonomous generator. The lie of the visible sun must be exposed. We worship the sun. From the Egyptians to modern sunbathers, we believe the sun is the source of life, and it is, but only of superficial life. The sun is a giant nuclear reactor that is exploding. It bombards us with radiation. It ages our skin. It dries the earth. The sun is masculine, aggressive, and a spender. It represents the world of appearances. But behind the physical sun, hidden in the folded dimensions of space, exists the metaphysical sun. It is the spiritual center of gravity of our galaxy. It does not emit visible light. It emits vril, pure intention, and cold vitality. It is black not because it is evil, but because its gravity is so immense that it retains its own light. It is an ocean of contained potency. While the yellow sun pushes you toward frenetic activity and anxiety, the black sun invites you to deep rest and the accumulation of power, magnetism. Society has disconnected you from this source by demonizing darkness. They told you darkness is satanic, sad, or dangerous. They cut your umbilical cord with the cosmic mother and left you an orphan, burning you under the tyranny of the solar father. It is time to come home. It is time to return to the shadow that nourishes. The solar plexus, your plug. Look at your body. You have a navel. That is the mark that you were once connected to an external source, your biological mother, who fed you without you having to do anything. On the etheric plane, you have another navel. It is located in your solar plexus, just above the physical navel, at the pit of the stomach. Why do you think it is called the solar plexus? Ancient anatomists knew something modern medicine forgot. That point is a stellar connection node. It is through there that you must connect to the black sun. Most people have this cable cut or atrophied, or worse, they have it connected to others. They have it connected to vampirism, fear-based news, or slavery to jobs. They have leaks in the plexus. That is why they feel knots in the stomach when they are afraid. It is the plexus reacting to an energy loss. The goal of this chapter is to repair that entry port and launch a direct cable. The physics of negentropy. The visible universe is ruled by entropy. Everything tends toward disorder and cooling. Your car rusts, your body ages, your coffee gets cold. The invisible universe, the void, is ruled by negentropy, negative entropy. Everything tends toward order, complexity, and concentration. The black sun is a negentropic machine. It reverses time, it reorders atoms. When you connect to it, you begin to experience a strange phenomenon, rejuvenation, not only physical but mental. You recover the child's curiosity. You recover the capacity for wonder. You recover freshness. People who live only on solar physical energy, food and sleep, get dried out. They become rigid, cynical, and bitter. People who feed on the black sun stay moist, flexible, and mysterious. They have a shine in their eyes that is not reflected external light, but internal bioluminescence. They are light bulbs that turn on by themselves. The dark night of the soul, the initiation. Sometimes life forcibly disconnects you from the yellow sun. You lose your job, status. You lose your partner, love. You lose your health, body. Everything that gave you identity and light goes out. You enter deep depression. You enter the dark night of the soul. You feel alone, abandoned in the cold. The ego screams, "I am dying. Turn on the light." But the void protocol tells you, "Quiet. You are not dying. You are being initiated." The dark night is an invitation. The black sun has called you. It has taken away luminous distractions so that your eyes adapt to the darkness and you can see him. If you resist depression, you suffer. If you surrender to the darkness, if you let yourself fall into that bottomless pit, you will discover there is no death. There is an elastic floor, and in that absolute darkness you will begin to feel a new heat. It is not the heat that burns the skin, it is a heat that ignites the bones. It is the cold fire of the black sun. Once you have drunk from that source in your despair, nothing can scare you. The archetype of the devouring mother. The fear of the black sun is the fear of being annihilated. It is the archetype of Kali, the goddess who cuts off heads. It is the fear that, if you let go, you will dissolve and stop being you. And it is true. The black sun dissolves the ego. You cannot enter the source carrying your suitcases of personal importance. The black sun burns the dross. It burns your traumas, it burns your fears, it burns your name. That is why it is scary. But what emerges from the other side is the diamond. Your true self survives. You have to be willing to be devoured in order to be reborn. It is the cycle of the caterpillar and the butterfly. The caterpillar must dissolve in a biological soup inside the cocoon, darkness, so the butterfly can assemble. If the caterpillar resists dying, it never flies. Surrender to the Dark Mother. Protocol 11. The Obsidian Cord Technique. We are going to perform the connection. This is the most powerful recharging technique that exists. Do it at night, preferably between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the hour of maximum silence, or just before sleeping. Step 1. Decompression chamber. Lie down in total darkness. Relax the body. Do the disappearance exercise, feeling you have no limits. Step 2. Source localization. Do not look up in the sky. The black sun is not up, it is inside and behind. Visualize that behind your back, in space, there is a giant sphere. It is not a destructive black hole, it is a sphere of polished obsidian, black, shiny, massive, and alive. It vibrates with a deep hum, like a high-power electrical transformer. It is the energy reserve of the entire universe. Step 3. The plug. Bring your attention to your solar plexus. Visualize that from your plexus comes a thick black shiny cable, an umbilical cord of dark fiber optics. Launch that cable backward, toward the sphere. Watch the cable travel through the void and clack. It connects to the black sun. Feel the anchor. You are now tied to the source. Step 4. The transfusion. The cold fire. Give the order. I request energy. Charge me. Visualize that a liquid substance, black and bluish, begins to travel from the sphere through the cable to your body. It enters through your solar plexus. At first, it feels cold, like menthol or dry ice. Then it expands and becomes an electrical heat. Let that luminous ink fill your stomach, then your legs, then your chest, then your head. Feel how your cells absorb this substance voraciously. It is pure food. It is liquid silence. Step 5. The storage. When you feel full, dense, heavy, as if you weighed a ton, give the order to stop the flow. Do not disconnect the cable. Leave it in. Now you have constant flow in maintenance mode. Visualize sealing your aura so that energy doesn't escape. Sleep with that feeling of heavy fullness. Delta sleep, the nightly visit. Most people sleep poorly because their mind does not turn off. They stay in light sleep, ruminating on problems. The sorcerer uses sleep to visit the black sun. Seek deep sleep, delta waves. In delta, there are no dreams. There are no images. There is no you. It is a reversible coma. That is where regenerative magic happens. If you do Protocol 11 before sleeping, you program your consciousness to go straight to the source. You will wake up with the feeling of having been far away, in a place of absolute rest. You will wake up with a physical force. Energetic autonomy, the end of vampirism. When you connect to the black sun, something wonderful happens. You stop needing people, you stop needing validation, you stop needing attention, you stop needing others to give you energy. You already have a full tank, you have surplus. This instantly cures any codependent or vampiric tendencies you had. It makes you the most attractive being in the world. Everyone wants to be near an energy source. People will notice that when they are with you, they feel better. They feel recharged. You are radiating the excess energy. You are a signal repeater. You can heal others simply by being present in the room, because your mere presence injects nutritive void into their stressed auras. You become a pillar of stability in a world of chaos. Reverse sungazing is your new practice. It consists of looking at the darkness. At night, go out where you can see the night sky, or just look at the darkness of your room. Do not look for stars. Look at the black space between them. Fix your sight on the blackness. Try to see the depth of the black. Let your eyes drink. Imagine your eyes are straws drinking from that darkness. Absorb the night. Feel how the night calms your optic nerve, which is burned from screens and artificial light. Feel how the night enters your pineal gland and activates it. Darkness is medicine. Drink it through your eyes. The gravity of the black sun in the voice. When you are charged with this energy, your voice changes. It acquires what we call background resonance. It is not just volume, it is that your voice seems to come from a deep cave. It echoes. When you speak, people feel a physical vibration. It is the authority of the Dark Mother speaking through you. It is a voice that calms animals and makes liars nervous. Use that voice to decree your reality. Words spoken with black sun energy are not requests, they are sentences. They materialize fast because they have mass. The danger of overload. Safety warning. Void energy is potent. If you absorb too much and do not have a strong physical body and a clean nervous system, you can blow the fuses. Symptoms: extreme irritability, insomnia, or a feeling of static electricity on the skin. If this happens, you need earth. Walk barefoot. Eat heavy food, meat, root vegetables. Do intense physical exercise like weights. You need to densify that subtle energy into muscle and bone. Do not be a thin wire for high voltage. Thicken the wire, strengthen your body. The sorcerer must be an athlete, not a weakling intellectual. The body is the capacitor. The stronger the body, the more darkness you can hold without going insane. The black sun is impersonal. It does not care if you use its energy for good or evil. It is like electricity. You are the one responsible. If you use this inexhaustible power to manipulate or destroy out of ego, karma, the law of rebound, will hit you with a force proportional to your power. And the blow from a black sun is devastating. Use power to create, to free, and to protect. Do not be a dark tyrant. Be a sovereign king. The difference is that the king serves life, the tyrant serves himself from life. Serve life with the power of death. That is the supreme paradox. Your connection is established. You are now a son of the void. Conclusion. The abyss looking at itself. We have reached the end of the scroll. The words are running out. The techniques have been delivered. The map has been fully unfolded upon the table. During the last few hours, we have traveled together, downward, not upward, toward the blinding light where the ego seeks to shine, but downward, toward the roots, toward the caverns, toward the black silence where life is gestated. You have learned to turn off the switch of constant emission. You have learned to implode. You have learned to eat time, to digest demons, and to connect your navel to the invisible sun. You have connected to the sun that sustains the galaxy. But one last truth remains. The final truth, the key that locks the padlock forever. During all this time, it is possible that you have thought of the void as a tool. I'm going to use the void to get money. I'm going to use silence to seduce. I'm going to use darkness to heal. There is still a separation. There is still a you, the small human ego, and an it, the great cosmic power. That separation is the last lie we must destroy before saying goodbye. Listen to me well, because this is the most important thing you will ever hear in your life. You do not go to the void. You are the void. That fertile darkness, that heavy silence, that irresistible gravity. It is not something that is out there in deep space. It is what is looking at you from the mirror when you take off the mask of name and form. Strip away your name, strip away your profession, strip away your gender, strip away your history, strip away your body. What is left? What remains? Nothing does not remain in the sense of absence. An infinite, black, silent, and awakened conscious presence remains. That is you. It has always been you. The character who has been suffering, struggling, and seeking power was only a spacesuit you put on. You put it on to experience limitation, but the one inhabiting the suit is the abyss itself. When you understand this, not intellectually but viscerally, fear disappears forever. What can the abyss be afraid of? Can fire burn the vacuum? No. Can the sword cut the vacuum? No. Can poverty impoverish the vacuum? No, because the vacuum contains everything. Can death kill the vacuum? No. The vacuum is the mother of both death and life. You are invincible, not because you are strong. Strength breaks. You are invincible because you are space. You are the container of reality. Problems, joys, pains, and pleasures are clouds passing through you, but you are the black sky that holds them. The clouds change. The sky remains. It is eternal. From today on, walk through the world with this secret identity. When you enter a room, do not enter as Juan or Maria, the person seeking approval. Enter as the abyss disguised as a human. Feel the immensity you carry inside. Feel that you carry the entire universe folded in your pocket. That sense of internal vastness is what we call sovereignty. The sovereign does not need to conquer anything, because he already is everything. And paradoxically, because he is everything, the physical world rushes to surrender at his feet. Matter loves the void. Matter wants to be possessed by space. Let life come to you. Stop running. You are no longer a seeker. The search is over. Seeking implies that you lack something, and infinity lacks nothing. It is complete. From this moment on, you are a finder. You are an experimenter. You are here to play. You already know the rules of the game. Implosion, silence, intention, non-reaction. Use them to paint the work of art that you want. Do you want to build an empire? Do it. Do you want to live in a cabin and meditate? Do it. Do you want to love with fury? Do it, but do it knowing that none of that defines you. If the empire falls, you remain intact. If the love leaves, you remain whole. That is the supreme freedom of the sorcerer. To play with total passion, but without the desperation of one who believes he can lose himself. You cannot lose yourself. There is nowhere to go. Everything happens within you. Look at the darkness of this night. Do not look at it as something foreign. Look at it as if you were looking at your own reflection in a dark storefront. Say to the night, "I am you," and listen to how the night answers you with a silence that makes the stars tremble. And I am you. The book closes here. But the protocol does not end. The protocol begins now, the moment you take off your headphones. The silence you are about to hear next is not an empty silence. It is the sound of your own soul breathing. It is the sound of antimatter waiting for your command. It is the sound of God recognizing himself in you. Do not fall asleep again. Do not turn on the light of cheap distraction again. Keep the black flame burning in your belly. Be the mystery. Be the gravity. Be the origin. The world is noisy, luminous, and superficial. You be deep, dark, and real. Welcome to your true home. Welcome to eternity. Welcome to yourself.